is that special sauce. Spill that drip, I wipe it off. $1 million worth of game. Can't feel that I work too hard.
Poetry all in these. What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy, Dope Boy Diesel. We back in the motherfucking building for a real full Doja Room episode this time. So I hope y'all are locked in. I hope y'all are here with me, ready to get it in today. Because we got a real special one here for y'all. Okay? So I want everybody to lock in to what we are doing, what we got going on. Let's get a quick sound check. Okay. Okay. All right. Once again, welcome to the Doja Room. I'm your host, Dope Boy Diesel. I hope you guys haven't missed me too much, but if you have been staying in tune with us, you know that we have never went anywhere. All right, we was streaming some Rainbow Six. We've been on Rainbow Six heavy. You know what I'm saying? My boys been on Rainbow Six heavy since Rainbow Six X came out, which is just Rainbow Six, but for free. So if y'all fuck with gaming, we've been doing a couple of streams like that. So I hope you guys go ahead and fuck with that. We're gonna be giving you more content like that, streaming content. But again, I'm working on something really big, and I want it to be done right. So that's really gonna blow shit out the water. Okay, we working on something that's you wouldn't even be able to guess it. Okay, you wouldn't even be able to guess it. So it's real important that I give time to that. It's real important that we still come and give you guys this consistency from yours truly. So to all my stoners, hippies, and hip-hop enthusiasts, we thank you for hopping into the Doja Room, but the entry fee is for you to roll that blunt. Roll that blunt, get comfortable. We're going to talk Drake today. If you're reading the title, we're going to be talking some Drake. We're going to be talking some Kendrick. We're going to be talking a couple of things that really are... it's the talk of the town right now, okay? We all know how this shit goes. Anything Drake does, it becomes the talk of the town, all right? Niggas want to constantly criticize everything that Drake does, even though he's the quote-unquote loser of the battle. For some reason, niggas cannot stop themselves from talking about the boy. Now here we're actual fans, so we're gonna do that, guilt free, and y'all know that. Y'all know what's coming when you fucking with me, okay? But there's been a lot of going on. So first and foremost, before we get to that, go ahead and hop in to the Doja Room community. First and foremost, if you don't follow me and you're watching this and you don't follow me on X, I mean, this is the hub. This is the hub for everything Dope Boy Diesel, everything Prosperity, everything the Doja Room. Okay, so you're going to want to get tuned into what we're doing here. We just reviewed Neza yesterday, an amazing film, an amazing animated film for the kids, for the adults. If you like anime, if you like, epic fight scenes, if you like, a good storytelling, this was a great ride. Okay, I have not seen animation this crisp, this this is definitely made in 2025. You know what I'm saying? Rightfully so. So go ahead and check that out if you guys haven't already. And if you don't know how to find this movie, listen to me good, listen to me clear. If you don't know how to get a hold of this movie or any of the movies that we reviewed, DM me, okay? DM me. I will hook you up with a link, and you won't have to worry about watching no movies or going to the movie theater or not having to miss out on movies like this anymore, okay? Go ahead and get into that for me. So the Doja Room community is here. We steadily growing. It's 7 people in here. So so far, or 18 now. So I hope you people are going ahead and tapping into the Doja Room community and making sure that you are locked in with us all the way, fully, okay? We need a full lock in, okay? So as the title says, we're going to be talking a lot of Drake today, okay? This is going to be a mostly Drake episode. We're going to be getting into these updates that have to do with his case. And we're going to make sure that we give you guys the full details. So we're going to get into the full documents here. So if that's not something that you're into, I suggest you stay for the beginning of the show, because the second half, we're going to be getting into these documents and really breaking down everything that was said in full. Now, a lot of the most important bits have been going around, obviously, but we want to get to what the entire document says in full. Well, mostly. And then, before we get to that, we have to knock out some of these smaller topics, and that I just think are pretty interesting. And quite frankly, some things need to be highlighted, some things need to be said. And it's really beneficial for y'all to stop in here and fuck with me, because you're gonna get a perspective that you ain't hearing anywhere else, okay? We not an echo chamber over here. So let's get into some of these topics. The most interesting thing, because it's mostly Drake shit today. I'm not gonna lie, it's mostly Drake shit today. But my baby Clarissa Shields says she finally met up with Remy Ma. And all that talking she was popping, all of that shit she was popping. All y'all told Clarissa Shields she better get a bulletproof vest. Look, this is what y'all need to know. Remy Ma is like 40. She already been to jail for damn near what, 10 years or some shit like that. She's not going back. She's not going back. She's not doing anything to put her back in jail. At least not directly, you know. She might pull some slick shit. Who knows? She looked like she still might pull some slick shit. Might pull some fraud. Might fuck with a scammer or some shit like that. But she's not a tough girl anymore. So Clarissa Shields says she finally met up with Remy Ma and had to put hands on her. Let's see what she had to say.
Cause baby, you don't even know what smoke is, baby. I'm from Flint. I'm from Flint, baby. Quit playing with me. I ran up on a hoe. Quit playing. So
she said y'all do something about it.
She want to talk about that shit. Fight me. I wanted to see what it was like with that face-to-face conversation, because that's what I'm about.
The least you can do if you Remy Ma is drop a diss record. You know what I'm saying? You don't fight, she fights. So this is what she trying to do. But you got to bring it back to your court. You got to bring it to diss records. You got to drop a diss or some shit. You trying to seem like you not pressed, but we all know you pressed, okay? Everything has told us that you are definitely pressed.
That's what I'm about. You wanna do this? You wanna do all that tweeting, baby? I'm about this. You right. We do just need to fight. We do. Yes, we do.
Round 2.
154, so I can show you what's up. Huh?
Damn.
Quit playing with me. No, because it get like that. I ain't even mean to put my hands on that girl. Lord, I have to catch myself. But she started putting her hand on my face. Girl.
She said she didn't even mean to put hands on that girl.
Get up!
God damn. Ah, damn. Why'd you do this, Remy? Well, you just lucky. Hey, be lucky it's not on camera. Be lucky it's not on camera. But look, you got to kill the smoke right now. You got to dead the beef. You got to leave Pap alone. Let that man have another baby, get remarried, do what he do. Because next time,
Fatality.
It just might be. It just might be. Okay? You got to stop playing with this woman. She is a professional fighter. An undefeated one at that.
Huh. You done met your match. You met your match. You met your match and you're mad. You're mad that you met your match. And that's okay. Cause I'm gonna give you what you want every time. Now what? Fight hype, now what? Now what? What you gonna do? I'll put my hands on you. I'll put my hands on you and you ain't do nothing.
Damn. That is tough.
Get up!
You getting beat up by Clarissa. Your boyfriend getting beat up by Pap. Oh my God.
Get up!
This is not good. This is not good. I mean, bro, y'all gotta leave these two alone at this point. Y'all gotta leave these two alone. Every time something comes up on the internet pertaining to the four of y'all, your side is taking the L.
Get up!
Bro, leave these two alone. These two are who they try to act like Kendrick Lamar is to Remy Ma. Like, y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. You're not gonna win this. The internet is against you. Neither one of y'all niggas can fight. You gotta leave it alone. At this point, you just gotta let bygones be bygones. Let this man live a nice, peaceful life. I don't get it with females who feel like once you break up and y'all move on and shit like that, like why continue to try to bash and tarnish this man's reputation if you've moved on? You're living your best life. This, that, the third, all the bullshit that y'all say. Like, I'm trying to figure out why there is this certain type of females who feel like they have to not only break up with you, but make sure that you can never find another suitable partner again in your life. It's crazy. So, end of the day, if this is true, if Clarissa Shields really did put hands on Remy Ma, first of all,
Get up!
but don't get your get back. Don't get your get back, because it ain't gonna be getting back for you. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and make sure, if y'all got some shit to put on notice while we are going through these documents and this Drake, UMG, Kendrick Lamar news, go ahead and link them in the chat so I can talk about them if y'all want me to talk about something specific. But we're going to go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this because quite frankly, the internet is in an uproar, okay, because of Drake's progress in his court proceedings. So first, let's stop. We're going to get one perspective here. We're going to also, again, read the documents for ourselves. But we got my boy Flacco in here who gave his 2 cents on what's going on. And quite frankly, I think it's worth going through a little bit of this. And I actually listened to some of this video already, and I had a couple of things that I disagreed with. So we're going to get into it.
Backlash right now after the most recent filing in his Drake versus UMG lawsuit. There's been a shift in Drake's entire personality since this lawsuit has been filed. When the lawsuit was initially filed, they were still in the heat of the battle. Drake was still concerned about being liked, making a comeback, and he was really concerned about the bad PR and didn't want for people to think that he was suing UMG or trying to destroy hip-hop, or he was trying to get back at Kendrick Lamar for winning the battle. So
yeah, this already, I don't agree with this. Already, I don't agree with this, Flacco. You bugging out. And what you saying doesn't even make sense. And I'm going to just tell you why. You can't say Drake is at any stage of this concerned about how people view him and what he's doing, because he obviously doesn't give a fuck. He filed the lawsuit. He went and filed the lawsuit in the first place. He obviously doesn't give a fuck about these K-Thots, these paid off bots, giving their opinion and trying to break him down on a daily basis as if they have nothing else to talk about.
Drake's team of lawyers even put out a statement claiming Drake is suing UMG for promoting or using deceptive practices to promote Not Like Us and slander him. And he was not suing Kendrick Lamar, and his lawsuit had nothing to do with Kendrick Lamar. But with these recent filings, it's perfectly clear that Drake is in a different headspace at this point. Drake don't give a damn about PR being liked anymore. Drake is currently at the stage where
Drake never gave a fuck about this shit. Drake, what make you think that Drake ever gave a fuck about this shit? There's hundreds of hours of evidence that can tell us and show us that Drake never gave a fuck about you niggas' opinions or how y'all looked at him or anything like that. What the fuck are you talking about?
wants blood, man. He wants to hurt anyone he believes hurt him. Drake is fully embracing this villain arc with the Iceman. I think, after Drake got like that top 10 hit with Nokia and then got another top 10 hit with the most recent record that he just dropped, What I Miss, Drake is at a stage where, he believes, my core fan base is enough to carry me. I could give a damn about the rest of these dudes. And these recent filings proves just that. Like the first filing that got like a lot of pushback and a lot of backlash was when Drake filed like the potential witness list.
Legal action against Universal Music Group over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us continues. According to reports, Drake's legal team has listed 63 potential witnesses. 63 in its initial disclosure filing regarding the defamation lawsuit against Universal Music Group. And it's literally like he has everyone from like Spotify to Sirius XM to Twitch. Like, bro, it's 63.
No, it's everybody.
Like, where I saw the pages, I was like, oh, it just keeps going and going and going.
No, they're going after everybody.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was definitely looking for Ebro's name on the list.
Why y'all was looking for me?
Because, you
You're a fucking dick sucker.
Wait, what?
Just say it.
Because you're you, Ebro.
Just say it. You a fucking hating ass dick sucker. You can say it, bro. Like, stop. I mean, it is what it is.
You be on the,
Why would I be?
Listen,
Yo, but they got like real talk Napsters on it.
Yeah.
D's are Napster. Like, it's
The
literally
National
anyone that
Football
had anybody that featured the song Not Like Us in any way, shape, or form, it feels like is on there.
Yeah.
Let me see.
But I think this is specific.
Ebro, you watch football? Yep, that's you. Instagram is on there. Ebro, you post a lot?
Yo,
That's
look
you.
at Laura.
Drake been sending out subpoenas all month. Like Drake been really serving folks. But one person that he was having a very difficult time finding is quite possibly the most important person for this lawsuit, which is Kojo Asamoah. He's a Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. Kojo, so we already know that Kojo has been popping up in recent, talks because of what he just said. Drake has been looking for him, and they want to serve him and really see what he has been doing to boost these numbers exactly. And it seems that a lot of people are starting to get hit to this Kojo guy and who he is, and what he does. It's rumored. So obviously this is the guy who, they say when it comes down to getting a hit record and getting those sales, things like that, this is the guy to come to. This is the guy. Kojo is the guy. So Drake has been looking for him rightfully so that he can serve this nigga up. And why not?
Our associate who's done marketing for Kendrick Lamar, he worked his way up to now he's like an executive at Interscope where he does marketing. But Kojo has a sketchy past. Like Kojo is a man who's been indicted on fraud charges, like $100 million fraud charges, burglary, arson. Kojo, for the most part, has been a career criminal. But Kojo,
Yeah, most of these niggas in the industry are fucking criminals. That ain't news.
Kojo apparently got his foot in these labels because he's really great at stream farming. He has stream farms. Now, this is not any proof that he did it for Kendrick Lamar, but Kojo knows how to artificially boost those numbers, get you in the algorithm, put bots on your songs to make it look like, yo, this song is really popular, and get you charting. This is what Kojo is known for. Kojo got interviews out there that's been taken down where Kojo is explaining, yo, every artist probably needs an initial boost. And then, you know, the merits would take over from there. Drake believes that Kojo was such an important part of Kendrick Lamar winning this battle that during the battle on Family Matters, he actually name drops Kojo, hinting towards...
Yeah, and this is when we gotta stop acting like we don't know that Drake knows what he's talking about. Drake fucking knows what he's talking about. Drake knows what he's doing. And he's not half-stepping. Y'all niggas is mad because this nigga is going and taking this battle and what UMG was trying to do and saying, nah, y'all niggas about to give me my money. Y'all niggas still about to give me my money. What the fuck is you talking about? This is not no play shit where y'all think y'all can set me up and boost this nigga's streams and numbers to make it seem like he beat me in a rap battle. We not about to do that. What is the point of you niggas acting like you don't know where the breadcrumbs lead? We all see it. We all know what's going on right now. We all know that Kendrick Lamar used bots at this point. This is public knowledge. We know these niggas use bots. But now we got to figure out to what extent. We know that these niggas are trying to lead a campaign to devalue Drake so that they don't have to pay him. Even now, they're trying to suppress him from getting the #1 with What Did I Miss? And we want to just breeze past things like that when we can't. We're not going to just sit here and brush past niggas being actively suppressed on the charts. Suppressing him from breaking records. Hoping that all of this kills his value. It's not. If it hasn't shown you that his value isn't going anywhere yet, you should already know that this is futile. There's no point to it. This man's value is not going anywhere. So the fact that these guys feel like they can sit here and act like, oh, well, we don't know why Drake is doing this and this is we all know what the fuck is going on. Drake knows what he's doing. Oh, yo, what's going on, bro?
What did I miss? I don't want to
gotta get that sound back.
I had to make sure you were in there, or you knew I was in there too.
Yeah.
I'll just cough loud. How you doing, man? Literally though, what did you cover so far? I saw you've been on for about 20 minutes, so.
Nah, we're just getting into the Drake stuff. We haven't even really gotten into any of the documents or anything like that.
Okay, perfect.
I seen this video that Flacco put out, like many others are talking about this right now, and I kind of and Flacco is actually a person who, you know, for the most part keeps it pretty fair. So that's why I actually, you know, listened to this video, but I really didn't disagree. I really did disagree with a couple of topics or a couple of things that he had to say in the video. So we were just going through it, but I just feel like even him right now, it's like, bro, we all know the play in what Drake is trying to accomplish right now and prove. So the fact that we're acting like, oh, you know, Kojo, he may have allegedly, we don't even really know if he did this for Kendrick Lamar, but you know, this is what Drake is let's cut the bullshit. Let's cut the bullshit. Kojo is the guy that Drake is going for because he's obviously the nigga who flooded Not Like Us with all of these fucking bots and shit.
Yeah.
They flooded X. That's why X is on there. He
Yeah.
flooded Instagram. That's why Instagram is included.
Yep.
So why are we sitting here acting like we don't know exactly what he's trying to accomplish right now and what's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. I agree.
My boy said,
They.
finally someone understand what's really going on. Thanks for passing the energy. Appreciate you for stopping through, my boy.
Yeah, I think it. You know what it really comes down to me, why people are playing dumb and shit, is, well, some of them it's corporate ties. I won't say that about Flacco because he normally seems to try to, keep it relatively objective and neutral. But I do think that's a lot of them are just pretending like this lawsuit's crazy because they're connected to UMG in some way. Maybe they work for Complex, who UMG owns. Maybe whatever it is.
Or they've
A
been
lot of
paid
these guys,
off. A lot of these
yeah,
guys have already been paid off. We know it.
that
It's why
too.
Drake is going after Screwface Thought specifically.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and then
And
and
people like NFR.
yeah, exactly. And then the last thing, and this is where the bucket I think Flacco falls into, is there are the people that don't want to seem like they're not real hip hop, and that's probably the best narrative that they have going against
They don't want to
Drake.
seem like conspiracy theorists.
That too.
But
That's okay. Yeah, actually, that's a fourth bucket. But they don't want to seem pussy. They don't want to seem like they're not real hip hop. Like
or
they're
biased.
they're about the paperwork. The legal shit. Like because there's always that faux pas in hip hop with like legal shit. You don't want to get caught being a snitch. You don't want to get caught being an informant. You don't want to whatever it may be. It's bad typically to have any type of connection to law enforcement, legal shit, blah 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 blah. So I think there are a lot of people that are afraid to seem like they're endorsing this in any way because of that, and there is a really kind of long history of sort of shaming that type of behavior in hip hop. So it's easy for people to get kind of sucked in and agree with that narrative, and even to go a little bit further. This is the only part of it I've ever disliked or thought was like a really good criticism, is the concern that it could lead to more lawsuits in the future where suddenly the labels are worried about allowing artists to express themselves. And I think
Right.
that's the fairest, criticism that even all of Drake fans, and I think even Drake probably felt a little bit shitty about having to do this because of the possibility of the ramifications of this being negative on hip hop. But at the end of the day, he's got to put himself above feeling like he's responsible for all of hip hop, because damn sure like hip hop shows they don't give a fuck about him. So why the fuck is he really going to sacrifice himself for a bunch of people that were calling him a pedo last year? Like you guys are asking for way too much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a fact. My homie said true. He said you cooking right now. But
Thank you.
I really think that you know even with this, and we're gonna continue the video but a little bit, but even with people like Flacco who are trying to dance around like the facts that we know are going to be the facts of what Drake is trying to achieve right now.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to stand on it and be like, look, there's a reason why Drake said everything that he said, and people want to act like he's not this premeditated, but
Uh,
he's been calling this play, and it upsets me so
mhm.
much that
Yeah.
people act like he wasn't already on this path
Yeah.
before the beef.
Bro, yes, thank you.
He
I'm
was
fucking
already on this path
I'm
before the
I'm blowing
beef.
that I'm blowing that trumpet louder than anyone. I fucking made a 80
Yeah.
minute documentary on it. But yeah, 100%. He's
And
showed
check that out.
signs.
My boy Rap Rhetoric definitely be
Yeah.
cooking
So
up, man.
sorry for the shameless promo, but it just it's
No,
fitting
hell no,
right now.
nigga. You better
Yeah.
promote your shit on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what?
Go to Rap Rhetoric on YouTube, and you'll
On
see it's my
YouTube,
most
man.
recent video. But yeah, basically that's if you look at the signs, particularly on what's it called Scary Hours 3, Scary Hours for All the Dogs edition, there are lyrics that are hinting of Drake knowing about this all coming
Yeah.
frequently. Obviously, Red Button's the best example. that everyone points to, but I think he even did it behind he layered it behind lyrics that seem like they're about something completely different. The best example is the "You Broke My Heart,"
Yeah.
the video, especially. Like, if you guys don't remember, in the video, Drake at the beginning is talking to Morgan Wallen, and he's like, basically just saying like, oh yeah, I just couldn't make this work. I got to, like go out on my own or something, and blah blah blah. And it's like, it basically sounds like it's him saying like, I got to go out on my own, like go independent, leave this music industry behind. And then right
Right.
as he's trying to leave, Morgan Wallen and him get blown up in the car. So I think it was basically like a symbol for Drake saying, as I
Yeah.
try to leave, they're going to try to kill me. But, basically, that's
Yeah.
what he viewed that whole hit as, with the Metro album and the Kendrick diss and everything. So I think he was well aware this was coming as soon as the contract negotiations went bad. As soon as Metro and Future were known to be making that tape for the last year, because that tape already had rumors of it coming out before Drake even dropped For All the Dogs. So I think
Right.
he was seeing all the signs. He's got a lot of friends. Yeah, he's got a lot of enemies, but he's gonna hear whispers. And then last thing I was gonna say, I'm gonna steal this point because it was such a good one from Hello Yasin. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Okay, he's one of the few dudes who's not a complete Drake hater, but he's also not
He
a
keeps it
huge
fair.
Drake fan. Yeah,
Yeah, he
exactly.
keeps it pretty fair.
It's so funny because anytime you're like pro Drake in any capacity, it's like you're immediately a Drake laser, because all of his comment section was saying this during this video where I'm gonna make this point from. But
Hmm.
he's also made so many videos where he's like not clearly not like a huge Drake fan or Drake fan at
Right.
all. But yeah, they just can't handle any pro positive Drake message. But anyway, he was saying, for all of the bullshit narratives about Drake being super emotional and spiraling over this Kendrick shit, he's like, think about how calm you would have to be to have this shit in your back pocket for like the last year plus and not say anything about it. So he's like, that narrative is very clearly shown that Drake is handling this with a lot of serenity, basically,
Yeah.
to have all of this info, or basically keep all of this kind of tucked away and wait for the legal process to play out. He's like, if he was really emotional and crashing out, we would have been hearing him yelling to the fucking clouds about all this.
We'd have heard him on Instagram talking bullshit
Exactly.
about
Exactly.
UMG,
Like
talking,
everyone
you know what I'm
else.
saying? Going crazy, talking about all of this shit going on. He would have been aired it out. He could have aired
Nothing.
it out like Nicki be airing her shit out. He could have took the
Exactly.
Nicki route. And
Exactly.
I would say him taking the Nicki route would be a more emotional or
Yeah.
unstable, you know what I'm saying, person.
He's seen how it works. They call her cokehead. They act like she's crazy.
Yeah.
He's smart enough to realize, like, yeah, I could be emotional, and some people would believe me, but there would also be all these people that would use that to disregard me as just emotionally, lashing out, not telling the truth when he knows he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that people definitely really have to look at this whole thing in a different lens, just because there's so many people not putting themselves in Drake's shoes. They're
Yeah.
not looking, and I hate it's always the most critical people
Yeah.
who don't watch your content, or they don't follow you, they don't listen to the music, but they're
Mhm.
the most critical of you. They
And they,
have the
yeah.
most to say about you.
Yeah.
And it's like it's obvious that you people weren't listening and you weren't breaking down the messages and the things
Mhm.
that he were saying. Y'all obviously wrote Drake off a long time ago, because a lot of you
Yeah.
niggas were just waiting for this moment, salivating, waiting
Yeah.
for a moment that somebody really stuck it to Drake.
Hmm.
So now that y'all feel like that moment has came, y'all want to put your foot on the gas and never let up. But even now, it's until this situation has happened, it was starting to get like stale, of people who were constantly talking about this nigga day in and day out. It was like, bro, what are you even talking about him for? I mean, these people talk about him as if it's their job to only speak about Drake. So it's
Makes
so it's so weird when these people are so critical, but y'all obviously weren't here before the beef, listening to this shit. Cause I'm over here listening to this nigga saying he the CEO of Universal. Like, I mean, shit, yeah, he's spitting facts. I'm like, he's spitting facts right now. He's spitting facts. I hope everything good at home, but it don't sound like it. But I don't know what all this means. But you know what I'm saying? When you're listening to this shit in the moment, you're like, shit. I, he's kind of ballsy to say this, but you know, he
Yeah,
don't
you
really. I
can
guess he
hear.
really don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
You can hear the anger and the just the confidence and not giving a fuck what they can do to him anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like I said, I think it's really important that people get in tuned and realize what is really going on and realize the full storyline, because a lot of people think that this story started at, you know, like that, and this is when this all of this shit began,
Yeah,
and this is the perspective that a lot of these people like to speak about this situation in. So this situation is something that has been brewing long before, like that, long before what 2024.
first person
So
shooter mode. Yeah,
yeah,
or I'm saying
like
long before first person shooter mode.
yeah,
Like that was even just another chapter of Drake being tired of Kendrick not moving past their stupid beef because he, obviously tried to get him on that track. He's
yeah.
like, bro, this is the fifth time I've tried to squash the beef with you.
Which
You'll
we
never
told
fucking
y'all
do
in the
it. So
Doja
fuck it.
room a long time ago.
Yeah,
We was one of the first niggas to tell y'all this shit. I'm trying to tell y'all, we
yeah,
was one of the first niggas to tell y'all that shit. Like it's
yeah,
crazy that people overlook that. Like
yeah.
I
If you
why
look at
like why?
Yeah, if you look at the what's the dirt, he like dropped this shit like a month before Kendrick dropped like that, and he was the one who predicted that Kendrick was gonna have a response for first person shooter mode, and people were like calling
Yeah,
him
that was
crazy
crazy when he
because
did that.
all all the shit was pretty subliminal to the average person, but he's obviously been following it for years. He's a fan of both of them, or at least was, and so anyway, that ended up coming true, and it's like, see, but if you watch that video, the point I was trying to get to was the amount of times Drake has tried to squash the beef with him was like 7 or 8. Like he gave him, shout outs. He fucking congratulated him even when his sales outsold Drake on Damn outsold like More Life first week. He gave him props when he won like a Billboard or Grammy over him. Like he's always tried to basically give
Yeah.
indications that like he's trying to,
They ain't no beef. Like, yeah, be
yeah,
cool over here.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah, but Kendrick, well, dude, that's literally what my whole next video is about why Kendrick really couldn't squash the beef. So I'm gonna get started on that pretty soon. But I wanted to come talk to
okay,
you for a
yeah.
while soon. It's
Hell
coming
yeah.
soon.
We wanna
I
we
keep
done we
I keep editing and reshaping it because it's always just like, how do you want to package this to be the most convincing? And that's kind of the
right.
hard part. It's like I got all the information, I've written fucking 10,000 words, but I'm always kind of trying to make sure I get it across the best way. But
Right.
anyway,
Nah,
this is
yeah, you
exciting
definitely gonna
times,
do
man.
your
I'm
thing.
really hyped.
Yeah, you always do your thing with your videos. So I mean, if y'all haven't already, again, check out Rap Rhetoric, and you won't be disappointed because yeah, like if you want to really see why people like us go so hard against these K thoughts, these bots, these people who try to spin these narratives, you'll
Keyword.
understand it by watching people like Rap Rhetoric and What's
Yeah.
the Dirt, and you know, so many other guys that just dive deep into this whole storyline and really bring the facts to light. So when you guys see these things, I mean, I think a lot of you guys, because a lot of you guys are K-Thats who watch my channel too for whatever reason. And you know, y'all comment, y'all leave y'all comments, y'all say y'all shit. But I think even you guys listening to some of this shit and breaking down some of this shit would be beneficial. Just because, you know, it might change your perspective on things.
Yeah.
You might look at things a little bit differently. So
Yeah, to
I
that point, for what it's
uh,
worth, I said, to that point, for what it's worth, I was a big Drake or a big Kendrick fan before all this shit went down. It wasn't like I was just someone born to hate Kendrick or like was hating for the sake of hating. I could literally show you on my top 10 or top 100 Apple Music most played. I had like that in like the top 15 because until he went dirty, I didn't really have a problem. Like I'm a rap fan, you know, I don't have a problem with
Right.
somebody. I don't have a problem with someone doing diss records. It's just when you start to manipulate the whole narrative in such a like
Yeah, what's the channel
divisive and
name?
just damaging way that it's like hard to respect
It's the
anymore.
channel right here, man.
Especially when all of your attacks are literally like things that you're guilty for. You know, it's like the amount of creeps that they had at TDE, Dr.
Right.
Dre, you know, Kodak, Triple X Tentacion, R. Kelly. Like, you know, you can go on for days.
Right. Exactly.
And so it's like, yeah, I mean, I want to hear. I don't know if you've got a perspective on this. Everyone seems to disagree, but one of the things somebody that sounded like they were a bit older was saying was like back in the day, if you used to get caught lying in like a rap beef, that was considered, you know, like a like a foul, you know, like it's like a technical foul. Like you were basically a bitch for doing it. Like it was frowned upon. And everybody nowadays will just like completely dismiss that as like being completely irrelevant.
Like,
Like,
nah,
oh,
you're
everyone
supposed to
lies in rap.
lie because somebody's lied. They've lied in the past, and we was okay with it in the past. So, fuck it. You're supposed to lie. So,
Yeah, that's how they act. But
but
I'm like, I don't know. I've been hearing different from some older guys in comment sections and shit where I'm
yeah,
like,
even in
maybe
rap battles, these niggas do research. Niggas do real research.
yeah,
Niggas really dig into your past. They get real facts together. Cause
yeah,
I mean, the lies just don't hit the same. Even if it
yeah,
is a lie, it's probably like half a lie.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was,
You stretch the truth.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
There's still
100%.
truth to it. They might be stretching it a little
Exactly.
bit, but there's still truth. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah,
like,
it's not fairy
yeah, this
tales.
nigga is over here hiding a daughter, and he's over here fucking kids for real. Like, yeah, that's what's
He's
going on.
streaming fucking
It's
bro.
like, all right,
The one that
where's
they
the
let
proof of
go.
this?
Yeah, the one they let go that's so crazy to me is him saying Drake had like streams of like sex victims like in his fucking dungeon practically. Is that what he
All
made
type
it
of weird
sound?
fucking shit.
Bro,
Like, what the
yeah, I'm
fuck are
like,
you
bro, that's
talking about?
dark. Like that's fucking Jeffrey Epstein dark. Like you better show some fucking proof. You better tell us where you heard this. You should have really seen this with
You
your
should
own
have called
eyes
the
if you're gonna
cops. Fuck
spread
that.
it. Exactly. So it's exactly that's the point I'm like getting at is like so if you do know about this, why the fuck didn't you come out sooner? Why didn't you publish proof, get this guy arrested? You think any of us would still be supporting him if you had proof of this? That you'd actually lose him his whole fan base, but you didn't do that because you were lying, frankly. So that's where it's like, bro, it's too far to me. I
Right.
don't, you know, even if Drake knew he was lying about the Dave Free situation, which I don't think he does or is, but even if he was, it's like that's still just completely different levels. You don't go to jail for life because you cucked your best friends, you know,
Yeah.
fucking whatever. You cucked your best friend. You do go to jail for, or like you should go to jail for life if you're fucking Epstein. So it's it's like crazy even the comparison. But yeah, the more I'm seeing, I think Drake actually did hear rumors that Dave Free and Whitney basically had a kid together. So it's funny that that was like the one thing that they
That he's
always
over here
hang their
really trying to
hat on,
get information on. Actually, like
bro.
he's really trying to get information on that shit. And
Bro, when I saw that picture of them, the new picture that came out, I was like,
mm,
oh shit, because like it's harder when kids are really small to see the differences, but now that they're getting older, bro, you can go to my profile. I think it's one of the, if not, I'll retweet it right now if I
what profile?
didn't, but I want you to see the. Hold up, I'll show you the picture. I'll just retweet it so it's at the top of my shit. 1 second. Okay. Okay, go to the top of my profile. I just retweeted it, so it should be there. But bro, look at those kids and tell me that like there's nothing there. I hate to bring it up because it's such a like sad subject, but tell me like that girl doesn't look just like fucking Kendrick. Go to the next one. Spitting image of Kendrick, right? Where's Kendrick's face in that? That looks more like Dave Free to me. Call me crazy, but
Look, I don't really know when it comes down to the whole kids thing. I'm not.
I know it's a touchy
Uh,
subject, but
it's not even that it's a touchy subject. I'm just not 100% like. If he's the fact that Drake is really pressing this point is making me raise my eyebrow. It is.
Yes.
However, I don't know what's his motive behind it really fully right now. I don't.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think, as far as court
I
documents and the court goes, that he can obtain information like that. I don't think
yeah.
that that's something that he can even
Ask for.
get. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
I
So
I think I understand the angle, like legally, what they're going for. If you want me to explain that, is it's
mm,
just I think basically UMG is going to try to argue that Drake threw out allegations that were completely baseless and just meant to blah blah blah, attack Kendrick. And so I think Drake is trying to prove that he actually did hear rumors about this, because that's part of the legal requirement for defamation. You have to show or prove that you intentionally misled people, like you had no reason to make the accusations you did. Because you can make accusations that are untrue as long as you're able to provide evidence that you did so under, false pretenses, misinformation, some hearsay. You have to show that you had a reason to, deliver that message. So if UMG tries to defend Kendrick, or basically say, Drake, you were doing the same thing with this line about Whitney and Dave Free, Drake has to be able to show that he didn't make that claim based on, nothing. He had reason to believe that. So that's what I'm 99% sure they're going
right.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that angle.
Hmm.
But even still, it's just like we can. I don't know. I don't even understand how you obtain such information, even if that is the case. Um,
I would assume, yeah, that's a good
I
question. I would
I don't.
assume they're talking about either
You're
DNA tests.
asking exactly. You're
Yeah.
asking for
Or,
essentially for these people to be DNA tested to a father and a unwilling participant, two unwilling participants.
well,
I'm pretty sure. I'm
yeah.
100%
Do you want to pull
guaranteed.
up? Yeah.
Uh,
Do you want to pull up the article? Because I don't know if they said they want the
yeah,
DNA or.
post it in
Oh,
the
okay.
chat if you have it,
Let me
and I
find it.
can
I'll
pull
find
it
it
up.
real quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, I don't know if they want an actual DNA test taken, or
That
if
boy said,
they
"I'm
think
digging the
one was
channel,
already
bro. New
taken.
subscriber here. Thank you for passing the energy. Yeah, we're gonna check your channel out too. Pass the energy. Yeah, appreciate
What's
you
it called?
for
What's it called?
stopping through and shit like that. But yeah, what was you saying?
Oh, I was basically saying I don't know if they want a DNA test taken, or if they want to see if one's already been done. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like they want to basically see if there's any evidence that Kendrick and him were doubting this as well, because maybe he did hear these rumors and he thinks that
Or
they might
maybe they
have,
were fucking around and this had to be verified in some type
exactly.
of way.
Yeah,
But
yeah, true. Like, what if they had DMs, flirting, something like that? You never
even
know.
still, I feel like that shit like violates HIPAA or some like I feel like
Hmm.
that would violate HIPAA.
True,
And
true, true. That's a good point.
there, regardless of the angle on that, there's no way you can just disclose, a client, or hey, I
Hmm.
want to see this shit. And it's like there's no way you can just disclose your client's, personal information or history. I mean, even we even saw in the Diddy trial that they
Hmm.
weren't allowed to speak about uh,
Hmm.
um,
Cassie.
Cassie's sexual, or health or
Yeah,
anything
yeah, yeah.
like that, or talk about
Records. Yeah.
anything she may had.
Uh-huh.
It, even though that would give a lot of context and clarity to the case, they said, "Fuck no, we're not talking about that. That violates a whole ass of things." First Amendment, not First Amendment amendments, constitutional rights, HIPAA. I mean, there's so many things that I feel like the thing would violate, and even with this on a smaller scale from Diddy, it's just like I don't see
Uh-huh.
how anybody approve, any judge approves, like, yeah, we got to see that, and even still you would get major pushback. um
Yeah. So
so
I can. I'll post the article right here. This is what I'm reading. Um, okay, sorry, I sent it. It
Yeah,
looks
let's
like
look at
what
that.
they're it looks like what they're saying. I don't see anything about them talking about DNA evidence. I think that's what a lot of people assumed, and that started getting spread.
Right.
It says technically, at least in this article, he's also requesting documents pertaining to Dave Free and his relationship with the Compton MC's kids. So I don't know if it goes that far. My assumption is it doesn't, and it's just kind of been sold that way because people are probably thinking like we are, like what else could they really show? But my guess is they could still look for things like DMs talking
Yeah.
about it. They could look for maybe some weird signs of like
Them
Dave
questioning
Free.
them going
Yeah,
back
who
and forth,
knows?
or have them there being a conflict. There might have been a fight. There
Yeah,
might have been,
yeah,
a
yeah.
back and forth or some type of battle or whatever, or some
Shit,
type
they might
of
even want to see
peace
if like,
agreement that
yeah,
had to be made. But
yeah,
even still, with that, I don't see two
anything.
people being that close, and just
Yeah,
like, if I just sit here and think about how much Kendrick Lamar hates Drake
uh huh.
and held this grudge against Drake, I don't see him being this close with the nigga who's fucking his bitch.
Yeah. Do you want me to make
Eh,
the
but
counter or the? Yeah,
let
sorry, keep
let's
going. I'll
get
tell you
let
after.
well, no, go ahead. You can make the counter, and then we'll get into the article.
Okay, so just devil's advocate. Um, I think to a degree, some of it or a lot of it even is phony, but I also think part of it's true. Sorry, what I mean by it is the whole idea behind Mr. Morale is really about forgiveness, moving on from abuse and trauma that we've suffered that kind of gets perpetuated in a cycle of victimhood. And in Kendrick's case he's talking a lot about like sexual violence and stuff because like his mom was molested, and then she basically, according to him, wouldn't believe him when he said he wasn't molested because of that. And so it's a lot of it's about the cycle of abuse and all of these things. um and that's kind of why people say he had Kodak on the album, because he wanted to show that even somebody who has a rough past like Kodak and likely assaulted a woman still deserves some humanity, some grace, some forgiveness,
Yeah.
whatever, right? So it's not completely impossible for me to imagine, especially considering how much he was cheating on Whitney, for me to imagine him being able to at least forgive her. The Dave Free part is obviously a little bit harder, but at the same time, like they've been best friends for like, 15, 20 years. So I don't know, maybe, and there's a
I
world.
just I feel
Yeah.
like Dave Free is the wrong target. I feel like
Yeah.
Dave Free, this may have happened, but Dave
Uh-huh.
Free may not be the guy.
The guy who did
And
it. Yeah.
and it
But
that I feel
mhm,
like that's a very high possibility too, if they
yeah.
went through this quote unquote
Like what? Yeah.
separation
Yeah.
phase.
That somebody
Um,
could have been fucking with her, but maybe not Dave.
it probably wasn't Dave, but it was probably one of the homies.
Yeah.
It was probably
Yeah.
really was one of the homies. It probably
Yeah.
really was one of the guys.
I
But it
will say
might
this
not have been
though.
Dave Free.
The best argument for it being Dave Free is that whole situation with Ack, how emotional he was. Like, I get that it wouldn't be pleasant to have people thinking, that you were
You
secretly
used
the
to be,
dad of one
yeah.
of Kendrick's kids, but
Yeah,
like,
like you
bro,
used
it
to be
was
doing him dirty.
over a year later, you're still trying to fight a dude over his employees' tweets. Like, that's very emotional. That's
Nah,
like,
I feel like a
you
lot.
know,
I feel like they were trying to get a little viral moment on top of that. I feel like a lot of it was performative too.
yeah, I
Just
don't know.
because, like he
When
said, they were trying to get this nigga on record and like bitching out.
yeah.
So
Yeah, true. But I think Ack also said like he could just see the guy like fuming, and he said like you could hear the emotion in his voice.
Yeah.
So
He did
I'm
say
not
that.
saying you're
He did say
wrong,
that.
but I do feel like the image he tried to portray was like Dave was hurt. And I'm like, why were you that hurt if there's no truth to it? Like, I don't know, man. I feel like Drake's been right about so many things. I'm like, I initially discounted it too. I'm not like someone who's like,
Yeah.
anything Drake says is true. Like, I initially was like, oh, that's crazy. Like everybody else. Like, trust me, I'm not like just hopping on any narrative Drake says or thinks he doesn't lie.
I mean, I was
But
in that boat with you. I
yeah,
was like, all right, now this
yeah,
nigga's
yeah.
chatting.
But the
Now
more I
he's
see him,
chatting. I was
like
like, yeah.
I'm at least 25% open to the possible, or I at least think there's like a 25% chance that it could be true. Which is way higher than I would have said before, which would have been like maybe 1%, you know? So I would still like probably think hopefully it's not true. Honestly, I don't even know if 25. I think it's on if I'm being real, I think it's kind of 50-50. But for their sake, I hope it's not true, but I I've seen enough to make me think there's a real fucking shot to be real. Um
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
It could very well be something going on there.
Yeah.
And all
It's
I can do that, like I've always taken a stance of, okay, well, y'all niggas got to prove what y'all saying. At this point,
yeah,
y'all niggas are
facts.
saying so many things back and forth
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we need some proof at this point.
Give
You
us
know what I'm
something.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah, for
I was
sure.
saying that about both of them because so many allegations started hurling back and forth. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we all were getting to the point where it was like, all right, somebody got to provide some paperwork, somebody got to
Mm-hmm.
produce a child, somebody
Yeah,
got
yeah.
somebody needs to
Something.
show us the documents or court documents of this nigga whooping
Yeah.
Whitney's at. Like we got to start
Yeah.
seeing this stuff now. Him getting the stuff on Whitney getting beat or Kendrick Lamar having these this domestic violence past or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
with the you know, I guess counter that you provided with it being this premeditated, kind of like, no, I wasn't lying. Like everything I was saying was the truth. So this is not
Mm-hmm.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it applies more there to that situation because
Mm-hmm.
that's something that's more like, no, I'm not
Yeah.
just out here calling this nigga a woman beater for no fucking
Yeah.
reason.
There's a
He
lot of
fucking
reasons. Yeah.
is. Like he
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
is. And
Well, and
I
also
feel
just to
like with
clarify,
that,
he doesn't have to show he doesn't have to show that he is. He just has to show that he had reason to believe it. So just
yeah, yeah,
his bar for proof is even lower than proving it. So just want to
yeah.
make sure everyone understands that. So yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I feel like that's something that's way more easy to prove or easy to obtain the information for. I feel like the whole kid thing, that's dead in the water. Like you're bugging out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you can mention that if you want to. Maybe you're just trying to ruffle some feathers or some shit like that. But
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like it was almost no reason to even put it in there because
yeah,
that the idea of to think that you would actually obtain, and I work in healthcare. I
mm-hmm,
work around all of the I mean making sure all of these things are enforced and
mm-hmm,
making sure these things are going as they properly should.
yeah.
So I just don't, me personally, just from my
Can't
personal
see it.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying, like just my expertise, I have not seen anything like that done ever.
yeah,
Unless you have something personally to do with the child. Now, if Drake was the one fucking Whitney, then I would say he had a chance. But you know,
He's like, I got the DMs, officer.
like, yeah, nah, nigga, I need to make sure that ain't my baby. Then then you working with something, nigga. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, if you have nothing to do with this relationship, even if it is some type of
yeah,
infidelity or something like that, it's like I it doesn't really have anything to do with you. You can't really obtain it.
yeah,
It's not information that is your business, even if it
yeah,
is something that's foul. So I, like I said, I feel like that one is just like you must have just put that in there to piss people off, like just as a middle
yeah.
finger, like you know what I'm saying. But
I
as for
mean,
getting that
yeah.
information, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, if they're looking for medical records, I think you're right. I think that will pass their threshold of like what they're able to ask for in discovery. If they have, let's pretend like Drake is right about this, or that he at least has reason to think he's right. If there are other things that he's heard about, maybe he's heard about the kid spending time with Dave Free too. Maybe he's heard about arguments that Dave Free had with Whitney, or I don't. You never know what it could be. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but
You never really know.
hypothetically, let's say Drake did get told something about there being proof of this. That could be what he's trying to get the records on. Like if he heard
Yeah.
rumor from somebody that he thinks is telling him the truth, he could definitely still be pointing at a few other things that might indicate that he's telling the truth. And then just full circle, I think
Yeah.
ultimately the only reason he's doing that is, one, yeah, probably to piss Kendrick off, but two, if he can show that nothing he made in his diss track was based on
Well, if it's a
fabrication.
rumor that he heard, it's definitely not going to work because they're just going to write that
No,
off as
no,
hearsay.
no, but that's the thing. You can't. That's the whole point. Is if you had hearsay, you can't get sued for defamation. Defamation has to be purely malice. So that's the thing with defamation. It's very hard to prove in the United States because they basically don't want like journalists or even like gossip magazines to get sued just because they got information wrong. They can literally post shit on hearsay. I mean, think about it all the time. Sources say that's why they're allowed to go off hearsay. You're thinking more like on a criminal case where hearsay wouldn't be good enough. But to protect yourself from defamation, all you need is hearsay. You just can't make shit up out of the blue. Because if you make shit up out of the blue and you're trying to harm the person, you might want to just pull up the requirements for defamation so you can see what I'm talking about. But
So
that's what
let's
uh
think about it like this. Do you
yeah.
think that Drake is preparing for a separate legal battle with Kendrick Lamar or his family or his estate? Could this be something that
Mhm.
he's preparing for?
No, I think the way he's looking at it is UMG is going to try to say in defense of themselves, okay, well, yeah, sure, Kendrick said things that weren't correct, but so did Drake. He said things where there's no evidence of this. He made shit up out of the blue, and so Drake's defense against that attack has to be to show that everything that he put in his diss tracks came from some source. It doesn't have to be proven. It just has to be not made up out of the blue. It has to come from something, even if it's just hearsay. That's how defamation works. Trust me, I like kind of had to learn this shit because I was a journalism major. So this is like one of the things that is really important to journalists because it's like a protection for them against being sued by celebrities. And that's why you
Right.
almost never see celebrities win defamation cases because the
They're a
bar is
public
so
figure.
low for
Yeah. It's
yeah,
so
if you're a
hard for you
public
to.
figure, it's so hard for you to prove defamation because it has to be done with malice. There has to be like basically no doubt as to whether it could have been true or if they could have possibly
So,
believed it.
but
Yeah.
look at it like this. Can
hmm
we not say that a rap beef is a malice in of
hmm
itself? It is done, and
Um.
these things are this beef was carried out with the goal to tarnish I mean the way it was going, and especially from Kendrick Lamar's end, the goal was to tarnish this man's reputation and to call
Yeah.
him a pedophile and to have people looking at him crazy. I mean, you had
Yeah.
people like what's his fucking face, the fucking dumbass nigga, but Sean C, the fucking Sean C
Uh huh.
nigga, who are
Uh huh.
who niggas like that who are over here like, oh my god, I don't think I could ever listen to Drake again. Like I can never look at him again. I don't think I can really
hmm
listen to his music and continue all of this bullshit that they were saying, but they're still listening to him.
Yeah.
So it's like the entire thing was carried out with malice.
Yeah.
So I feel like it almost could go both ways, but even still, if Drake can prove these things, I guess you
Yeah.
can say that he can absolve himself of saying like, "Oh no, this wasn't done with malice. I was just rapping back. I was telling facts. This is
Well, so the way
defamation."
yeah. the way the malice part works is that's just one thing on the checklist that has to be there. So it has to be done with malice, plus it has to be a false statement of fact. It has to be publicized. It has to identify you directly. There has to also, this is the key that most people, you know, would probably lose on, I guess, is you have to show it genuinely harmed your reputation. And that's why in the
Right.
initial
That's it.
lawsuit, they included the part where it shows Drake's approval rating going down by like 10%, because that proves that Kendrick's words harmed his reputation. So you have to check off all these again, which is why it's so difficult. So it's like you've got to show, you know, that the person knew it was false, that they publicized it, identified the person, harmed their reputation, and then the fifth one's fault. So the level of fault, which is basically the negligence or actual malice, that's the part I'm talking
Right.
about with the malice, depends on the plaintiff's status. Public officials or figures must prove the defendant acted with actual malice, meaning they either knew the statement was false or acted with reckless disregard. So that's the other key thing, is like if they didn't put in any effort to try to see if it was true, or if they didn't give a fuck about, you know, if it could have you know, been a false statement that they just passed along with, you know, like frivolousness, that they're just like, oh yeah, I mean, I heard someone said it in the comment section, so I, you know, I went on the news with it. Like that would be frivolous, or, you know, it would be a reckless
Yeah.
disregard for the truth. And then
Yeah.
the last one is falsity. The plaintiff generally bears the burden of proving that the statement is false, though some statements are considered defamatory per se, inherently harmful. So, like being called a pedo, he doesn't have to prove he's not. It's clearly, you know, something that would inherently
Yeah. He just has
destroy his
to
reputation.
prove that,
Yeah,
yeah, like it's fucking with
y-
his reputation, and
yeah,
there's people that actually believe this shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Due to him putting out what he put out, and I think
Yeah,
he has every right to do that. But on the flip side too, um, I don't know if you know, you get Whitney or somebody who does come out and on the other end, and you know they
uh huh,
like sue Drake or something like that.
hmm,
Um, I think he would need something like this in the tuck, just
yeah,
to say
exactly,
like, yeah, like I'm not out here
um,
telling lies. Like I don't have nothing to lie
exactly,
about.
yeah,
So you know, but I do want to
exactly,
get into this article because you know we didn't
yeah,
even touch it yet. Hold on, where did it go? Okay. And really see what it was talking about here. So it says Drake legal battle with UMG continues, and recently the Toronto rapper requested various documents from the company. This includes documents of any and all allegations of domestic violence, of violence against women, or violence in general that have been made against Kendrick Lamar. Which I forgot about the little violence in general part. That shit is kind of crazy. So he's also requesting documents pertaining to Dave Free and his relationship with the Compton MC's kids, uh, and he says, for those who don't recall, Drake's suggested that one of his Kendrick's children, with his fiance, blah blah blah, is Dave Free. We already know that, and accused him of domestic violence, which we know that too. Um, it says in his lawsuit, Drake accuses UMG of artificially inflating the success of Kendrick's hit diss track, Not Like Us. The Grammy-winning song includes allegations that Drake and his OVO crew are pedophiles. He denies this, but alleges that UMG knowingly spread the accusations regardless. UMG has yet to respond to the latest request, but earlier this week, Drake secured a major win in court. He began going after Kojo at last month. He accused him of playing a major role, or what? Playing a major role. I guess they had a typo there. Role in allegedly falsely boosting Not Like Us by coordinating secret payments on behalf of UMG executive Raymond Alvarez Smickle. That's crazy. That's a crazy name. Drake's team spent 75K and hired two private investigation firms in attempt to serve Mr. Kojo, which that's what we're gonna call him. We're not saying all that, but was unsuccessful until recently, reported his team was able to serve him by mail at 5 different addresses on August 7th. Now, he must produce the documents, information, or objects or permit inspection of the premises related to the alleged botting as part of the subpoena. So the plaintiff alleges that Mr. Kojo possesses knowledge relating to UMG's use of covert tactics to promote the defamatory material, including because plaintiff believes that Kojo was involved in directing payments and or financial incentives from UMG or a third party. Yeah, I mean, we know that this is what the man was trying to do. And this is why they had to serve the nigga in 5 different emails, okay? And I'm willing to bet that this nigga Drake is probably gonna fuck around and charge this $75K to these motherfuckers to say, yeah, y'all gonna have to pay for these legal fees. Fuck y'all niggas. But I think he's right to do that. I think he has every right to do it, what he's doing.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the
100%.
video real quick, but let's want to give your
that's
input
probably
on
the
the
key
article.
witness at the end of the day. So.
Yeah.
I mean, no, man, I pretty much already did. Yeah, you already heard how I feel about it. But yeah, I mean, besides the on the Kojo part, yeah, I think that's the key witness. The fact that he had to pay $75,000 and still hasn't found him tells me the guy's probably ducking.
That
And he's
nigga's
probably
in
ducking
hiding.
for a reason. And it's
Where was
it's
Russell
funny
Simmons
to see
at?
the
Belize?
the cope. Yeah, Bali.
Bali? Yeah, he was in Bali.
Yeah,
That's
Bali.
where that nigga at. You
Yeah,
looking Bali, nigga.
Kojo went and visited Uncle Russ.
Hell yeah, nigga.
But I got a dip, brother. But it's good if you're still on in maybe a couple hours or an hour or so. I'll try to hop back in. But good talking.
Yeah,
to you.
we
I'll
might be
back
streaming
if I
some
can
Rainbow a
again.
little bit later. But yeah, we appreciate you stopping
Okay.
through, man. Yeah, appreciate it. My
All right,
boy
man.
Rap
It was
Rhetoric, y'all
fun.
go ahead and check out his channel. We always
We'll keep it
appreciate
up.
him stopping through in the Doja room.
All right, later, man.
Word. All right, so let's get back to this video because there were some perspectives coming from this that I just didn't agree with.
Hey, I know your little secret.
Anthony set up the plays. Kojo be charging you double for none.
The bar ended with Drake saying they shook about what I'ma say, but texting your phone like we already won. Drake would even shout out
is that
Kojo's
not,
digital.
like, is
Kojo
that
be
not?
charging you double for none.
The bar.
Is that not a bar though? This nigga premeditated. He already knew what was going on. He already knew. He said this before Not Like Us came out. He already knew what to play. He already knew what you niggas was doing.
Ended with Drake saying they shook about what I'ma say, but
texting your phone like we already won. He knew what you niggas was thinking. He knew what y'all niggas was going back and forth in the play and how y'all niggas was gonna, oh yeah, this is it. That's it. We done. We ain't going back and forth no more. He won. Kendrick won. No more back and forth. You gonna drop Not Like Us and that's it. Oh, we done now. Like what, nigga? Like what? What are you talking about? What are you even talking about? Let's get into this comment real quick. He said, what if Drake baited Kendrick into the rap beef because he knew that they would use Kendrick to try to tarnish his name just so he can push the red button? I don't think Drake baited. There's no way that you can tell me that. Like Rap Rhetoric was just in here saying there's plenty of times and instances where Drake tried to squash this beef between him and Kendrick. And again, go check out that video that Rap Rhetoric just posted because he gets into a little bit of that. But Drake has countless times tried to squash this beef. As soon as First Person Shooter, when he tried to put all 3 of them on that record, as we told you niggas years ago in the Doja room, like he fucked up this opportunity. He fucked up this chance to say we're the big 3. We're crushing the game. We the only niggas to talk about. We the niggas who got our throat on and Kendrick said, nah, fuck that. For whatever reason, Kendrick said, nah, fuck that. So I don't see a world where Drake baits Kendrick into the rap beef also he can push this red button. I think Drake was already prepared to push the red button, regardless of Kendrick Lamar or whatever what was going on. I think Drake was just going to be a little bit more overt and say like, look, you niggas are over here just like, I mean, you can see it from how they stopped him from achieving his last number one with what did I miss? Drake can just say from that standpoint alone, like, look what these niggas are doing. Look how they're suppressing me. My own label, not giving me play, but they're promoting all of these other artists. Then he can go and say, look, I want to see how all of these other artists are being promoted, and I want to see what kind of dollars are going into me, the biggest breadwinner here, the biggest nigga here, the nigga who's bringing in the most money. I want to see how I'm being treated and how the rest of these guys in here are being treated. I feel like Drake does the same thing. Beef or no beef. Because that's the angle I take. Okay, there's no beef. Let's rewind. There's no beef. Okay, you niggas are suppressing me from getting a number one. Oh, you niggas are suppressing me from radio play, not playing my songs as much. But you over here blasting these nobodies. You over here blasting these nobodies, these people who don't bring in a quarter of what I bring in. All right, let me see what you let me see what's going on over there. Let me see what's going on over there. Let me get into that paperwork. Let me see what's going on with all of these other key players and shit like that. I feel like really it doesn't matter if Kendrick Lamar isn't the guy. You still had all these other people besides Kendrick Lamar who were going at Drake too. So in some way or fashion or form, it seems like UMG gets what they want. Even if you don't have Kendrick Lamar at the center of all this. Kendrick Lamar is just the perfect guy. He was the perfect guy to go ahead and say, all right, we're going to push our red button. We're going to push our red button first. So I don't know. I don't think Drake can bait or had any intentions of baiting Kendrick Lamar into the middle of this.
Texting your phone like we already won. Drake would even shout out Kojo's digital marketing company, sending like a subliminal towards.
He said there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? This is how calculated and cold this nigga is behind the scenes. And y'all niggas wasn't paying attention to it. Y'all niggas wasn't hearing us when we told you that Family Matters is the best song in the beef. It just is. Every day, this man is proving why this was the best song in the beef. Because he broke down and told you before he even got all of this information what they were doing and how it was going down. What these niggas were thinking. How they were going back and forth with each other. He told you.
Any other rapper other than Kendrick Lamar?
There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide. You know what I mean?
Come on. Calculated.
My guy was
premeditated.
He was the first to make this connection. So if you see this from anybody else, they got it from him. He actually did the research to discover that Kojo's like management team or his marketing company is actually called Nowhere to Hide LLC, and Kojo is the business contact online for it. So Drake was really setting a signal. Hey, bruh, I know that Kojo is the one responsible for juicing up these streams or sending bot plays if bot plays were sent, which as of now we still don't know yet, and it still hasn't been confirmed. Well, Drake, for the most part, has been trying to find Kojo for months. He couldn't find Kojo. Drake had to settle with serving Kojo via email, which I don't know if this is gonna like hold up, because he could say, hey, bro, those emails no longer work for me. But yeah, Drake sent a subpoena for Kojo to show up to court via email. And this was all documented in court. In this recent filing, Drake's attorney, Annie Larson, alerted the court that she has successfully subpoenaed and served Kojo Asamoah under all the condition required. So she will state, pursuant to court's August.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into some of that because we actually have that right here. And like I said, I want to break this down and get into some of this myself and see some of this with my own eyes. Okay, so we're gonna read a little bit of this and really see what was going on as far as these new developments in the case, and just to see it for ourselves. So if y'all the type of people, y'all like to see things for yourselves, you don't like to get secondhand information, go ahead and lock in. We're going to read what was going on here. So it says they got some specific definitions when they're referring to certain things. Super Bowl halftime show refers to the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show in February 9th, 2025, of course. Recording refers to the vocal performance of the recording artist Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, professionally known as Kendrick Lamar, and embodying the music composition co-written by Kendrick Lamar titled "Not Like Us," which was first published on May 4th, 2024. So, image refers to accompanying cover image to the recording. Music works means any sound recordings of musical composition along with the accompanying lyrics, whatever. Music videos mean any video recordings, video. This is for white people, okay? Payola refers to the practice of paying for radio plays or other promotion without disclosure prohibited by the Communications Act. So we know we're gonna get into a little bit of that, all right? So these are the instructions. It says the plaintiff incorporates by reference all instructions, definitions, and rules contained in FRCP and local rules of the United States District Court for the Southern District Court of New York, or Southern District of New York, and for purposes of these requests, the following instructions shall apply. Unless otherwise specified, the relevant time period for the request is March 26, 2024 through the date of these requests. Your response to the following requests shall be based on all knowledge and information, and this is just legal jargon. We can really get into the meat and potatoes of this. This is just giving the instructions of what they need to do. Documents to be produced. So let's get into that. This is what we're here for. Okay. So document request number 1. All contracts and agreements between you and Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, his agents, or anyone working on his behalf, including all contacts and agreements reflecting your right to approve, reject, refuse, or publish, edit, amend, alter, or veto the publication of Kendrick Lamar Duckworth's musical works, music videos, or other content. So that's the first document to be requested. Document number 2, request all documents and communications relating to you and relating to your approval or consent to publish the recording, image, and video. All communications involving Raymond Alvarez Smickle relating to the recording, image, or video of the promotion of Not Like Us. All documents and communications relating to the payment and reimbursements of discretionary marketing funds for the benefit of Kendrick Lamar Duckworth or any person working on his behalf, including but not limited to Anthony Saleh. All documents and communications relating to any allegations, concerns, complaints, or reports, whether formal or informal, oral or written, made to you relating to payola violations regarding any music works by Kendrick Lamar Duckworth. We know there's a lot of that. I've told you guys personally in here, there's a whole lot of payola going on. I rode from New York to South Carolina. It was nothing. I purposely put the radio on to just see what I'm hearing in each city, and it was nothing but Kendrick Lamar. So there was a massive campaign, a massive payola campaign. I heard it firsthand. We still hear it today. So all documents and communications relating to any actions or contemplations or contemplated actions you undertook with respect to the copyright restrictions for the recording, image, or video, including but not limited to any alterations, modifications, removal, suspensions of the same. Number 7, request documents sufficient to show your internal policies, procedures, and guidelines relating to the enforcement of copyright restrictions over publications, playing, streaming, or sharing of music works, music videos, and other content on third-party platforms. Document 8 requests all documents and communications relating to February 2nd, the 2025 Grammy Awards relating to the recording, image, or video, including but not limited to all documents and communications with the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences or any respective agent thereof. All documents and communications regarding, and I'm glad, I hope he's pulling the Grammys into this, and I wish somebody would sue the fucking Grammys and start bringing to light their procedures and processes so that we can really, I mean, we all know these niggas are a joke anyway. Nobody really gives heed to these Grammy Awards that they randomly give out with no real pattern of, judging music or whatever they do. All documents and communications relating to the February 2nd Grammy Awards relating to the recording, image or video, including but not limited to all documents and communications with the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences Incorporation, or any representative or agent thereof. All documents and communications regarding the promotion and advertising of the recording, image, or video for the purposes of obtaining a nomination for Grammy Awards, obtaining a win for a Grammy Award, or promoting the February 2nd, 2025 Grammy Awards, and all documents and communications regarding the content of the archival footage available from the February 2nd, 2025 Grammy Awards, including but not limited to reference in this link that they included here. So number 9, request all documents and communications related to the selection and licensing of the recordings to be performed at the Super Bowl halftime show, including but not limited to all documents and communications related to any kind of decision proposed, contemplated, or made with the respect of whether to omit or censor any lyrics or other content relating to the recording during the Super Bowl XL halftime show. Whatever number it's on, I don't know. Document 10 requests documents and communications sufficient to show the number of streams, views, downloads, purchases, and radio play of the recording and video on all platforms, including social media platforms. Documents sufficient to show the executive compensation structure and annual incentive plans for Interscope Chief Executive Officer John Janik for the past 5 years. So he wants to uncover everything that these niggas was doing, from the Grammys to the Super Bowl, anything that these guys had to do with touching this record, promoting this record, making this record bigger. He wants to see that information. He's coming for it. Documents sufficient to show the executive compensation structure and annual incentive for plans at Interscope. Okay, I think we just read that. Number 12 says documents sufficient to show Interscope's 2024 executive incentives. This is also what Drake argues, that these guys are paid and incentivized to make these things blow up how they did artificially. Okay. Incentive metrics, targets, projections, and performance used to determine annual incentive compensation for Interscope's executive and officers, including Chief Executive Officer John Janik for the past 5 years. Once again, documents and communications sufficient to show the dates on which you sent litigation hold notices and the recipients of those notices relating to any of the allegations in the complaint and anticipated or actual litigation by plaintiff. Number 14, all documents and communications relating to the May 7th armed attack and May 8th and 9th trespassing attempt on Drake Toronto residents. Drake even want to see paperwork on that, on these people coming to y'all. You want to even see, well, are these niggas really trying to kill me? I might as well just cross all my T's and dot all my I's. Because y'all niggas don't know, and y'all act like y'all don't know how deep this shit could go. Y'all act like artists have not been knocked off. Y'all act like these allegations or all this pedophile shit and this Bill Cosby shit, the Michael Jackson shit. Y'all have lined niggas up historically. Y'all are not about to sit here and shame this nigga into saving his own fucking life. Saving his own fucking reputation. Because if you sit here and let this shit fester, you seen what happened to Michael Jackson. You seen what happened to Whitney Houston. Why the fuck would we sit here and you niggas are so fucking stupid to sit here and get behind the machine to further perpetuate the bullshit that we've watched happen over the decades? Watching these artists fight for their rights, their music, their ownership. And you niggas want us to just sit by and watch this shit happen again. Oh, this nigga's a bitch. He's just mad because he got his ass whooped. The shit was constructed like this because you niggas are sheep. You niggas are sheep. They know what you niggas are going to say. They know to feed you niggas these talking points and you niggas are going to run with them. You niggas don't have original thoughts. This is why we read all the documents, because it's very important that we go through shit like this and look at this from a true perspective. Drake is over here including this shit in here because he over here thinking like, well, shit, maybe I really do need to watch my back. Maybe these niggas really are trying to dun me. Maybe I do need to include this here just in case. Just to say that nah, I don't have any intentions of self-harm. I'm not depressed. I don't want to harm myself. You better start saying that every day. Yeah, just typing that out every day. I recommend you start doing that, brother. So number 15 says all documents and communications related to the promotion of the recording on Spotify and Apple Music. 16 is all documents and communications regarding to objections to or concern regarding the content of the recording, image, or okay, whatever that means. Number 17 says documents sufficient to show the total money spent by UMG directly or indirectly on the production of the recording or video. So Drake wants to see the entire lump sum, the entire amount total spent on Not Like Us, that one record, just that one record alone, directly or indirectly, whether on, you know, images, videos, that being paying these influencers and shit like that. I think this is what he's really trying to uncover here. 18 says documents sufficient to show the total monthly money spent by UMG directly or indirectly on the promotion of each of the recording and videos. He's coming for it all. Exhibit 2. What is this? This is the email. Okay. This is from Nicholas P. Crowell. Okay, this is them serving. He says, I write, Dear Counsel, I write to memorialize our May 2nd, 2025 meet and confer regarding the plaintiff's first set of requests for production and related discovery matters, as well as provide plaintiff's understanding of the current status of UMG's responses and next steps. Now, before I continue, I think that why Drake may be so successful in this is because he is catching the industry with their pants down effectively. He's catching the industry with their pants down. You got to look at it like this. These guys never expected in a million years for a rapper to self-sabotage like this. And this is, you got to understand, this is what they're thinking. No, none of these niggas have the balls to sit here and say that we are doing these things and to blow up the whole spot, because a lot of these niggas actually benefit from the bots and the this and the that. But as it's been said many times over, Drake doesn't use bots. Drake doesn't use bots at all. So when it comes down to these other people, it's almost one of these positions like there is nobody else fit who fits the bill, who can pull this off, that can do this. It's not many people. I'm not going to say nobody, but it's a very short list of people who can actually stand up to the industry like this, pull the curtain down to show you the man behind the machine. And Drake is in a unique position to do exactly that. Drake is doing something that we ask our politicians. We ask these politicians to do when we elect and vote for them. Drake is doing something that a lot of the motherfuckers in a lot of aspects of different industries would never do. Because when you're uniquely in a position, when you're at the top of the game like Drake, you usually just sit down and you take what you can get. But Drake clearly knows that he has grown bigger than the system to a degree, and that he can perfectly survive without UMG. He can perfectly survive without UMG. He's already said it plenty of times that I'm the person. Well, he hasn't said it plenty of times, but he said that I'm the person that's bringing home the bacon. He's told y'all that I feel like I'm the most important person here. I'm the CEO of this building. When you Google the CEO of Universal, you should look at it. It should show me, because I've put in the most work for this company. I've made this company the most dollars. Objectively. Can't even argue with it. So, for you niggas to not give me what's owed, or for you to seem like you don't want to give me what's owed to me when I am a once-in-a-lifetime artist, you may very well never see another Drake again. You may very well never see a person achieve the heights or break any of his records. We may very well never see this shit. So you got to understand, when Drake is over here looking at these guys like, y'all niggas really gonna play with me and I am who I am, I feel like he has the right to take the stance. Excuse me. I feel like he has every right to take the stance that he's taken. There's no other way for him to go. He's the only guy that can take this and survive this. There's nobody else but him. Nobody else could do what he's doing and still have a reputation left, still have respect left, still be the biggest in the game. I mean, he's uniquely in this position for a reason, and it's why he has to. It's why he has to be the one to do these things. Now everybody is so confused, and you're gonna see through some of these reactions of these people being like, "Well, I thought that this was about Drake doing it for for the industry, or I thought he was doing it for all the independent artists." And if you don't see what he's doing and how this benefits everyone, then my nigga, I don't understand how you call yourself a person who is lending your voice to speak on hip hop. Because if you don't understand this, then quite frankly, you need to sit down. You need to step aside. You need to sit this one out. Now, there's a lot going on with this letter. Let's get into it just so we can get the full context of what's going on. Okay, there's a lot to read here, obviously. I was going to skip past it, but there's too much to skip past, and we're not going to get what's going on. All right, so it said this letter is not intended to cover every topic that we discussed unless explicitly stated herein. Plaintiff disagrees with UMG's responses and objections and reserves all rights. As we discussed on the call, plaintiff believes that working collaboratively throughout discovery is in the best interest of both parties, with the parties engaging in regular discussion and working interactively, particularly with the respect to identifying custodians. We understood that you were in agreement. So protective order. We discussed UMG's markup to the draft protective order and our proposed changes. We have provided you with that markup by separate email. The ESI protocol says we discussed UMG's markup to the ESI protocol, our proposed changes. That markup is attached to the same transmittal email as this letter. While all of our edits are contained in our return markup, we specifically want to note one item about the production and text responsive portions of 24-hour RSMF segments. The plaintiff does not agree to this proposal. Personal text messages, especially those contained on the personal phone of a major celebrity, are overwhelmingly likely to contain non-responsive content within 24 hours of responsive content. Non-responsive content may include, for example, non-responsive information about Drake's family, including his minor son, or non-responsive, sensitive communication with other celebrities. So real quick, we got a chat. My boy Kev says, facts, these dudes that claim to be so hip-hop sure do side with the industry a lot. And I mean, it's sad that you see so many of these guys on the side of the industry. You feel me? And I think so many people get convoluted with the beef being at the forefront, but the beef is at the forefront because UMG does not want Drake to even attempt to do what he's doing. They knew that, especially with the beef happening, that, you know, looking at it from 2024, they're like, oh, this is suicide. Remember how these guys were talking when this case just started? They were over here like, oh, we dare this nigga to do this. Oh, you about to do what? You know how crazy you're gonna look? You know what this is gonna do to your career? Nothing. Nothing. Nowadays, these guys are much more, I can say, tame in their speech and how they speak to Drake. Cause Drake over here got niggas like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna hold you. He got these niggas in the chokehold right now. So, you know what I mean? You gotta get it. So let's continue here. It says on the meet and confer, you stated that UMG's basis for seeking to prohibit responsiveness redactions in RSMF profiles was that it allows the production or the producing party to unilaterally decide what material is or is not responsive. However, all document discovery requires that both sides exercise responsiveness determinations in good faith. If UMG wishes to challenge any such RSMF redactions, plaintiff will consider them in good faith, including by offering representation to UMG about the subject matter of any redacted messages. So I think this is where they were going through talking about how there were too many redactions in some of the things that they received previously. As you will see, we have adjusted the redaction provisions so that it confers reciprocal rights on both parties and redact a non-responsive information of RSMF. Files, and it forbids redacting any material necessary to provide context to the responsive messages. Status of UMG discovery. So there's an update. See, we inquired about the status of UMG's document collection and review. We explained that we wanted to ensure that UMG's discovery process was not being delayed by the parties' ongoing negotiation of the productive order and ESI protocol. You stated that there were no such delay. Specifically, you advised that you have collected the electronic documents of 5 of the custodians listed on plaintiff's proposed custodians list for the relevant time period, and are planning to run plaintiff proposed search terms across these documents. It was not clear to us on the call what specifically was encompassed by the collection electronic documents. Additionally, it was not clear to us on that call whether UMG would be running plaintiff's proposed search terms or some other set of search terms. We would appreciate receiving clarification on these points. The custodians says on April 25th, 2025, plaintiff sent UMG a proposed list of custodians to assist with its document collection efforts. During our meet and confer, you advised that it is UMG's position that at least at this time it will only be searching for and producing the documents of 5 of the 28 custodians on plaintiff's proposed list: Bill Evans, Gary Kelly, Greg Marella, Jim Rappo, and Raymond Alvarez Smickle. Again, we asked how you selected those 5 custodians. You said that you were not contained and would get back to us. Please promptly let us know. They not playing with these niggas. They are going in. It is some serious shit. It most definitely is some serious shit that they getting into. So they're basically telling these guys, we want all the information, and they're going through and they're following up. They're on top of these guys as they're going through their discovery and saying, hey, what's going on with that? What's going on with that? Where it at? How long? 5 minutes? 5 days? 2 hours? Nah, we need exact dates and times. When we gonna get that? And they coming back. Oh, okay. Is that ready yet? Because you said it was gonna be ready by today. Oh, we still ain't get an answer on that other thing, by the way, too. So where is that? What's up? What's going on with that? Clock's ticking. We need that. We need that information. They're not playing, and that's basically what this is that we're reading. They're not playing with these niggas. They're on top of them, and they are on top of this discovery process to make sure that they are getting all the information that they're supposed to get. So said we did not agree that on UMG's limiting its collections to just 5 custodians was appropriate. You explained that once we have the opportunity to review UMG's production of the documents for the first 5 custodians, should there be any custodians whose documents we believe we should be searched and produced, you would be willing to have that conversation. We reserve all rights to seek discovery from all 26 custodians listed in our initial proposal, and any other custodians we determine to be relevant throughout the course of discovery. So basically saying, look, y'all said y'all was going to give us 5 people, but we didn't say just 5 people. We just putting that in the air. Y'all are saying that these 5 people that we're going to produce the documents on these 5 people, but we just want to make it known that these 5 people aren't the only people that we asked about. Our initial list that we asked about contained 26 people. So we still want that. We still waiting for that. So we gave y'all some grace in saying that we're going to let y'all cook up these documents for these first 5 people. But unless these 5 people produce everything that we need, oh, we're going to need to hear from them 26 other people. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to need to hear from them, or 21 other people. We're going to need to hear from them. They said we then discussed each custodian individually. We explained that for many custodians, we were seeking their documents based on their publicly available job title, but that our identification of custodians would be more focused with more information about UMG's organizational structure. On our previous meet and confer, and on April 17th, we discussed the possibility of UMG producing to plaintiff an organizational chart to assist plaintiff in identifying custodians with relevant documents. So they want a whole chart, a whole breakdown on how their inner workings work. On this call, you advised that no such person-by-person organizational chart exists. We raised the possibility of providing you with specific names of UMG employees so that you could then provide the scope of their job responsibilities and the people on their team who they work for. You said you would be open to discussing this as a solution. So they're putting in writing that we discussed this, you said these things, and these are the terms that you agreed to. Just a sidebar. If you niggas don't deal with your employers like this, if this is not how you communicate with your employers in writing, making sure everything is documented, when you talk with your boss or you're having any type of conflict in work, this is what your paperwork as a boss and as an employee who's been on both sides, who's hired and fired. I'm telling you, when it comes down to you having conflict with your jobs, this is what your paperwork needs to look like. Okay? This is a teachable moment right here. This is what the paperwork needs to look like. When you have a conversation or a meeting with your higher ups or your boss, anything is promised, anything is said, you need to follow up with that meeting in writing to say, okay, hey, this is everything we discussed. Just, running this back with you. And anytime I talk with my colleagues at work and, we talk about something or we plan something or, we feel like we're going to do something and we're going to be spending money and doing certain things, I always make sure when the first thing I do when I go head back to my office is I send that email saying, okay, hey, this is what we discussed. This is what we agreed to. This is what I'm going to do. This is what you said you're going to do. And we're going to have this in writing. We're going to have this. And if you don't go about corporate America like this or your work life like this, you'll be fucked. Okay? But that's just a little side note. I digress. So let's get back into it. It says the documents encompassed by another custodian. For many of the custodians, you took the position that searching and producing their documents would be redundant. of the other custodians whose documents you have agreed to search and produce. You represented that it was your understanding that the following custodians' documents would be redundant: Ramon, Fatima, Jordan Bell, Kojo, Lane, Mankoff, Lewis, Tiffany Bell, and that's pretty much it. They said going into these guys' files, it would be redundant. There's no point of doing it. They said you represented that it was your understanding that the following custodians' documents would be redundant of Gary Kelly, Annie Lee, Jessica Stats, Mark Seepersod, and Pooja. You represented that it was your understanding that Michael Nash's documents would be redundant of certain others, but you needed to go back to confirm those documents specifically. Please promptly advise. They not playing with them. Apex custodians. It says you took the position that searching and producing the documents of the following custodians would not be appropriate because they are Apex custodians. Avery Littman, Boy, John, Lucian Grange, Monty Littman. Notwithstanding UMG's position, we continue to believe each of the aforementioned are key custodians likely to possess responsive information. Relevant questions. You asked us to explain why we believed certain custodians were relevant. After we provided explanations, you agreed that these explanations were helpful, and you advised you would go back to your client to discuss. Please promptly let us know the results of these conversations. And they specifically list. We explained that as the CEO of UMG or UMPG, we understand that Jody Garrison would be the custodian with the information relevant to the licensing and promotion of the defamatory material on UMPG. We continue to believe Miss Garrison is a key custodian likely to possess responsive information. John Janik, we explained that as the CEO of Interscope, it is our understanding that John Janik would have been involved in initial and ongoing approval necessary to publish the defamatory material. We continue to believe Mr. Janik is a key custodian likely to possess responsive information. Laura Carter and Nicole, we explained that as the head of urban marketing in Interscope and EVP of urban marketing at Interscope, respectively, we believe that Laura Carter and Nicole would have discovery relevant to plaintiffs' allegations about the use of discretionary marketing funds. We continue to believe Ms. Carter and Ms. Weiscaro are key custodians likely to possess responsive information. And then they went to Steve Berman. He said, we explained that as the vice chairman of Interscope Records, we understood that Steve Berman would have been involved in initial and ongoing approval of the publication of defamatory material as receiving any complaints. We also agreed to get back with you with any additional basis. It's our understanding that Mr. Berman is likely to possess responsive material relating to UMG's communication with entities involved in the promotion, marketing, and planning of the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show. You represented that Will Tanos was the corporate communications person for UMG and was not involved in anything relevant to this lawsuit until the lawsuit was filed. We stated that we would consider your position. We believe that Mr. Tanos plays a significant role on UMG's executive team and is involved in key executive level decisions, suggesting that Mr. Tanos would have been involved in executive level discussions about approval and ongoing publication of defamatory material. We ask that you please promptly confirm this understanding with your client, Mr. Tanos Rhodes, prior to the filing of the above captioned case. So then they get into the search terms. They said also on April 25, UMG proposed. The plaintiff sent UMG a proposed list of search terms for certain plaintiffs' discovery requests to assist with UMG's documents collections efforts. In your letter addressed to me, dated April 28th, you advised the UMG would respond to these proposed search terms under a separate cover. We await the correspondence. They're going to down the list with every little thing they ask for, every response they get for everything they asked for, and they are document. Okay, we asked for this at this date. We are waiting for a time for it. They are meticulous. They are not playing. This is somebody who is is a monster to have on your legal team. It sounds like to me, just by reading this and them and how persistent they are. So the plaintiff's first request for production. We also briefly discussed a few questions we had regarding your April 28th letter regarding plaintiff's first request for production. Objection number 6. While we are agreeing to a narrow definition of the terms payola than the one contained within plaintiff's first request for a production, we explained that the defamation that you proposed was too narrow because it would not encompass the communications with middlemen involved in the pay-for-play scheme. As alleged in the amended complaint, to that end, we propose the parties agree to the following definition of payola, which is for the purpose of the first request for the production and discovery right at large. So prefer payola refers to the practice of paying or providing or agreeing to pay or provide money or other valuable consideration to any individual or entity for the purpose of achieving or obtaining airplay or increased airplay for certain content on an AM or FM radio station licensed by the federal commissions, which is basically, their definition of payola, which we all pretty much know. And my boy Rise in Thrive, he says, if there's proof that Dave Free smashed Whitney, it's game over. Yeah, me and Rap Rhetoric talked a little bit about that earlier in the show. With him requesting things like that, again, I'll reiterate, that I feel like with HIPAA alone, that's impossible information to gather. Unless Drake was fucking Whitney himself and he wants to know if that's his child, I mean, that's the only way that he can obtain such information. I feel like that whole point is dead in the water. There's no point to even go after such things because I don't think there's a world where he gets that information. I really don't. And I'm just being honest. So it says, please promptly let us know if this definition is agreeable so that they agree on what the definition of payola is. So this is them just saying, hey, we both understand that this is what payola is, right? There's no misunderstandings. There's no, oh, I thought it was this or you thought it was that. There's no misunderstandings at all, is there? He says all they need is text messages between them. I mean, they can probably find text messages between them, and that's the stance that rap rhetoric took, which was basically to say that, Drake, they just need to prove that Drake was not, putting this information out with malice, that this is a real question mark in the industry, or this is a real topic in the industry that is going on or that's going around. So I completely understand that point. You're right on that. But even still, I don't see how that would 100% prove anything unless it's really damning, like this is your baby, some shit like that. It would have to be something like that. So it says, request number 1, we reiterated why we believe that UMG should agree to produce any redacted contracts or agreements with the definitions sections redacted, that no one could understand a contract's meaning without understanding the definition of the defined terms. You agreed that your goal was not to produce redacted versions of contracts or agreements that were incomprehensible. So this is where they're also talking about how they couldn't read these damn documents and shit like that, and it's a little crazy. Okay, this is also taking place on this took place on May 13th. Going back, dating further back into what they were talking about, because I believe this recent one was, let me just see. Yeah, this was from May 7th when they asked for that information. Now we have even more. And this is just more information. Now we're not going to read this one, but this is just more information proving that they had these conversations and the timeline of these conversations, but we're going to speed it up a little bit to today, where you have an email from Mr. Larson, Annie Larson, to Nicholas. Oh, it's a couple of people. Crowell, Nicholas P. Everson, Caitlin Ramson, a couple of people. And then they CC Gottlieb, Michael, Sullivan, Brady M, whoever all that is. And the subject is Drake UMG, meet and confer, re-custodians. And it says, and when was this? This is the May 28th. This is more recent. It says, thank you again for the productive meet and confer Wednesday, May 28th, regarding the collection and production of document from 6 custodians: Grange, Janik, Lee, Littman, A. Littman, and Muir. The below is not intended to be a complete recitation of our meet and confer, but rather is intended to summarize what plaintiff understands to be the current status of our negotiations of each of the 6 custodians. If you believe we have inaccurately stated UMG's position, please promptly advise and specify what you believe is not accurate. Okay, so let's get into what they are proposing. Okay, just so they're clear on everything. Again, they're just making sure that they are clear on everything that they have going on. But real quick, let's see. It says, yo, I just noticed something. There should be more people in here. Is everyone watching the lives of people calling Drake crazy? Oh, bro, trust and believe. It pays more to talk crazy about Drake and, things like that, and push these narratives. But again, this is why we get straight into the documents, because we got to lay eyes on these things ourselves to be able to, give an unbiased opinion. As much as we do love Drake, I like to give an unbiased opinion when it comes down to things. Even like how I just said, I don't think that including the kids and the information about the kids, I don't really see the purpose in him doing that. I really think that is causing more of an uproar and giving more fuel to the fire than helping him out in a PR sense. But obviously Drake doesn't give a fuck about any of that. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like he's going to do what he does. So it says Lucian Grange. It says, it is still not clear to us on what basis UMG is objecting to Sir Grange as a custodian. You did not represent that Sir Grange does not have responsive documents. So you didn't say that he didn't. So it says, we asked you to identify the UMG designated custodians that you believe Sir Grange is cumulative or duplicative of. And you did not have that information available. We reiterated, as an example of Sir Grange's relevance, that we understood Sir Grange was the ultimate decision maker with respect to publishing and continuing to publish and promote content that was likely to result in legal liability for UMG. We also stated that any involvement or non-involvement of the board would be relevant, including to actual malice. You said that you would discuss with your client and get back to us. So, John Janik, we understand that UMG's only objection to Mr. Jack as a custodian is that his documents would be duplicative of Steve Berman and Gary Kelly. We asked whether Mr. Berman and Kelly reported directly to Mr. Janik or whether there were employees in between them or in the organizational structures. So UMG is basically saying, look, there's no reason for you to go looking in this guy's stuff or Lucian's stuff because you're just going to be getting the same documents you're already getting from these lower guys right here. So these documents should be good enough for whatever you're looking for. And Drake's team is obviously saying, no, we don't believe that that's it. And we want to know why you believe that these documents would just be a duplication or them reading the same thing over and over. You know what I'm saying? So that's actually what they're trying to argue here. Okay? It says, we also asked whether you had an understanding of who at Interscope was the ultimate decision maker for the issues relevant to this litigation. So basically saying, we just want to know who's in charge. If you can't tell us who's in charge of making these decisions and pushing the buttons on this, if this guy isn't the person and he doesn't have then tell us who is. Tell us who's in charge. It said you agreed to speak with your client to confirm. Annie Lee, we understand UMG's objection to Miss Lee as a custodian is that you understand she had no direct involvement in these issues relevant to this litigation, and her documents would be cumulative of documents from Mr. Kelly and the repository of centralized financial records from which you are collecting responsive financial information already. We asked that you confirm who Miss Lee reports to and whether Mr. Kelly reports to Miss Lee directly. You agreed to get back on your client and confirm. How do you motherfuckers don't know who's reporting to who? Why is this something that you guys got to go back and look up this information and see who's reporting to who and who's getting paid by who and taking orders from who? Like, how don't y'all know this? This is very suspicious. I'm not going to lie. And this is why we read the documents verbatim. From Monty and Avery Littman, we understand you're only objecting to Monty and Avery as custodians is that their documents would be duplicative of Jim Rappo. We ask that you confirm whether Jim Rappo reports directly to Monty or Avery Littman, or whether there are any employees between them in the organizational structure. You agreed to go back to your client and confirm. We also asked whether it was your understanding that Mr. Rappo had any role in discussing, opposing, consenting to, etc., Interscope's ongoing publication and promotion of the content that we allege defame a top Republic artist, as that would seem to be outside Mr. Rappo. Where was I? A job. You agreed to go back to your client and confirm. Which everybody, they got to go back and confirm whether who they're reporting to is proper, I guess, or whatever. It says for Boyd, we understand that your sole objection to Boyd is relevance. We asked whether Mr. Lee reports to Mr. Muir, and you agreed to go back with your client and confirm. This is crazy. This is craziness, really. If you really reading this and breaking it down, this is some real craziness. So this is plaintiff's second set request to production to defendant UMG's recordings. This is the second request. So pursuant to rules 26 and 34 of the Federal Rules Civil Procedure, plaintiff Aubrey Drake hereby request defendant UMG produce all documents, electronically stored information, tangible things in your possession, custody, or control that are responsive to these requests for production of documents. Each individual request shall be read and interpreted in accordance with the definitions and instructions set forth below. Plaintiff incorporates by referencing all instructions, defamations, and rules contained in the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, the local rules of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, and purposes of request, the following definition shall apply. Unless words or terms have been given specific definitions herein, each word or term used hereon shall be given its usual customary definition, customary dictionary definition. So the terms defined herein should be construed broadly to the fullest extent of their meaning in a good faith effort to comply with FRCP, and or shall be constructed either disjunctively or conjunctively as necessary to bring within the scope of request all information that might otherwise be constructed outside of their scope. You, your, and yours refers to UMG. So when they're when I'm speaking and I'm reading it, and you hear them saying you, your, and yours, they're talking about UMG. Communication or communications means, in addition to its customary and usual meaning, every contact of any nature, whether documentary, electronic, written or oral, formal or informal, at any time or place, and under any circumstances whatsoever, whereby information of any nature is transmitted or transferred by any means. So they say, when they say communications, any fucking means of communications you have used, nigga, we want it. They are not fucking playing. They're not playing at all. They say he included the kids thing because he wants to prove he didn't defame Kendrick. He wants to prove that he had proof to his diss songs. And agreed. I did agree with that. We spoke about that earlier. And that was my point. If it comes down to it, and I think that was Rap's point too. If it comes down to it, Drake can sit here and say, well, these two things aren't the same thing. What this nigga is talking about are just straight lies and defamation. What I was talking about is facts. Or at very least, this is a narrative that many people in the industry believe. So I completely agree with that point. My boy said Iceman episode 3 tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Thursday. It seems like he's been dropping these on Friday, so I don't know. I haven't seen anything or heard anything yet, so I would love to get Iceman episode 3. I just got to get that Pinocchio song. And all of this is why we got to pay attention. Drake is so, and I feel like that's why we haven't really gotten Pinocchio yet. He's letting this information just come out as it needs to. And this is why he's on his I know what they did last summer bullshit that he's on, because he's ready to really push the red button on niggas. So again, when they're saying communications, they're just specifying what they're talking about. These are just definitions. Specific definitions. Allegations refer to any allegation, statements, suggestions, insinuations, or rumor, whether contained in the recording, image, video, or otherwise. Okay, so they're just going through again and just really being detailed on everything that they're talking about. Shout out my boy Ohio. We are gonna hop on Siege, my boy. I got you. We are gonna hop on Siege. We gotta serve the hip hop community first, though. We gotta serve the hip hop community first. We do a lot of shit here in the Doja room, but we gotta serve the hip hop community first. Again, it's going through A couple of more definitions. We know the definitions of payola, etc., etc. Um, and more instructions on how they need to follow the case, which is a little bit of a duplication of what we read earlier. So, documents to be produced. All documents and communications from January 1st, 2009, throughout the present relating to the allegations. Document request 20. So this is the continuations of where we left off with the document request. All materials provided to the board of directors of UMG or Universal Music Group NV that discusses or mentions in any way the recording, video, image allegations and the pre-action discovery petitions or the complaint or any of the allegations contained in the complaint. This request includes, but is not limited to, the meeting minutes, board books, or similar compilations, presentations, reports, or any of the other materials or documents provided on the board of directors of UMG, Universal Group, or members of thereof. I think this is really smart by Drake too, because not only are you popping open the hood and seeing what these guys might have been doing all of this time while you were, in battle, but you get to see what these guys' perspective really is on you. How they're really talking about you behind closed doors, right? How these guys really perceive you, how they really move when you're not in the room. I think this is on top of him getting his money. This is just some good information to know. Like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, you think about it. You think about you having that information of what these people are saying about you when you walk out the room in your job and shit like that. It's a little creepy, but it's cool. I'm not gonna lie, because if I knew everything niggas was saying, I'd be like, so what was that about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I like checking niggas. I'm sorry, niggas talk shit. I like checking niggas. I like asking niggas with all that shit they was talking about. But I digress. Document 21 requests all documents and communications relating to any social media post about plaintiffs Kendrick Lamar Duckworth and the allegations, the pre-action discovery petitions, and the complaint or any yada yada complaints, videos, whatever. Documents sufficient to show all social media accounts you control that posted or shared content relating to the plaintiff, and so on and so forth. More rhetoric. All documents and communications relating to any analysis you conducted or commission of social media engagement or discussion related to. All documents and communications for number 24 relating to the deletion or removal of your social media posts and or comments about plaintiff Kendrick Lamar Duckworth and the allegations, petitions, complaints, so on and so forth. Number 25 asks for all documents and communications to the deletion or removal of social media posts or comments by your employees about the plaintiff, about Drake. All documents and communications relating to social media posts or comments by Greg Marella. So they want those too. They're not playing. Number 27, documents sufficient to show your initial policies and procedures related to removing, reporting, taking down, or limiting comments in your social media and YouTube accounts. Number 28 asks for all documents and communications relating to any removal, reports, or limits users' comments on your social media and YouTube accounts that relate to plaintiff Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, so on and so forth. It's the same legal jargon. 29 asks for all documents and communications from January 1st through the present relating to any instruction, direction, or suggestion that any musical work or music video over which you have contractual rights or control of any kind to be censored or otherwise modified based on the content of the music work or video, or B, decision to not license, publish, or promote any music work or music video over which you have contractual rights or control of any kind on the basis of content in the music work or music video. So basically saying we want to see all the times that you have and haven't done this shit. 30 asks for the time period of January 1st, 2018 to May 31st. All documents and communications related to any instructions, directions, or suggestions that any music work or music video by Pusha T, including but not limited to the story of Adidon, be censored or otherwise. So they're saying we want to see when you did censor this shit and compare it to what you're doing right now, because that would show that UMG's actions here are not consistent with their policy or something that they would regularly do. Document 31. Documents sufficient to show Interscope's monthly revenue and profits from January 1st, 2020 through the present. 32 asks for documents sufficient to show your and Interscope's monthly revenues and profits derived from any way of the recording and video of Not Like Us. 33 asks for documents sufficient to show the value of Kendrick Lamar Duckworth's recording catalog from January 1st, 2020 to present, including but not limited to any valuations thereof that you conducted, commissioned, or considered. 34. All documents and communications internal to... Jesus Christ, I'm over here fucking... These damn fucking flies. Knocking my shit out. Any documents relating to the negotiation or anticipation of Drake's current contract with UMG. About to damn bury myself. Any of his contracts with UMG and or negotiation of a new contract that includes but not limited to the documents of communications discussing UMG's leverage over Drake, the value of Drake's recording, the cost of extending Drake's current contract, the cost of entering into a new contract with Drake, and the documents and communications with Jim Ropo for the time period of August 1st, 2023 to present. So not only does he want just the regular shit, not only does he want the normal shit to say that I want to see what you guys were doing with the money, he wants to see the discussions that they were having about his contract and the cost, what they were valuing him as, how they were trying to weigh out the cost of paying him again and, you know, extending his contract. He wants all of those conversations and communications. Okay? So again, when they're saying communications, they're talking about every fucking thing. 35. All documents and communications relating to the negotiations of Kendrick Lamar Duckworth's current contract with UMG, but not limited to documents and communications by form to or including Steve Berman for the time period of January 1st, 2023 to May 4th, 2024. 36. All documents and communications related to the recording, image, or video. Pretty simple. 34. All documents and communications you receive from any third parties or non-parties in connection with or relating to the pre-action discovery petition or this litigation, whether by subpoena or otherwise. 38 asks for all documents and communication with Spotify, USA, Twitch Interactive, Amazon Services, Apple, Amen. That's what it, yeah, Amen. Anthony Sella. Amen, whatever his name is. Anthony Sella, or Sala, whatever his name is. Gary, Joshua, Josh Kaplan, Kojo, Anthony Tony Butcher, or any counsel representing them relating to the recording, image, video allegations, the pre-action discovery petitions, or litigation. 39 asks for all documents, communications with complex networks, recording relating to the recording, image, videos, allegations, yada yada. All documents, communications with Vivo LLC relating to the same. All document and communications with Penske Media, or Penske, whatever it is. All documents and communications with iHeart Media. All documents and communications with UMPG relating to it. All documents and communications with YouTube. All documents and communications with Meta or Facebook. All documents and communications with NFR Podcast and its host, Lucia Guarini and Anthony D. Alaso, and its employees and its agents, whether directly or indirectly, relating to the recording, image, videos, allegations, pre-action discovery, or litigation. Yeah, at this point, it's almost like it's public knowledge that these niggas got paid off. And these niggas have been very quiet on the subject. At least I haven't seen anything of them saying or speaking up about any of this. So I'm guessing they're just going to stand behind UMG and let them handle it. I don't know. But they're asking for any communications and documents pertaining to their communications and talks. 47, documents and communications sufficient to show all licenses, including but not limited to commercial and synchronization licenses, granted to the recording, image, and video, and music composition contained to the recording, whom the licenses were granted and the value of the licenses were granted. This request included but not limited to, in connection with Meta, TikTok, in the July ESPY Awards. The Pop Out concert too in Inglewood, and streaming thereof. So I guess that has to do with Amazon as well. All documents relating and communications related to The Heart Part 6 by Drake. This is something that I didn't see a lot of people talking about. And again, this is why we got to read the documents, because yeah, like it's very strange that The Heart Part 6 might not have getting an inch, a sliver of what Not Like Us got. And they kind of may have, what Drake is trying to expose here is them making this play of we're gonna blow this up and we're gonna bury this one. We're gonna blow this shit up and we're gonna bury this other shit. You say, I want to see that YouTube paperwork because every time I search Drake's names, an anti-Drake channel pops up. I mean, yeah, that's what gets the views, bro. You got to understand. Channels like this aren't going to get the views. We're not going to get the handouts, and we're not going to get the calls from Rock Nation and UMG saying, oh yeah, we like what you're doing. Keep on talking about that. Keep on talking. They're not going to call us, bro. They're not going to look at channels like us for that, because at the end of the day, what we pride ourselves on is being fair. Even though we are Drake fans over here, I have sat down, and if you guys are avid fans of the Doja Room, and if you even look back at the catalog, we've sat down with plenty of Kendrick fans, picked their brains, traded, ideas and perspectives. And at the end of the day, no matter how I might get down on Twitter, okay, no matter how gutter I might get down on X, because it gets messy sometimes, look, I'm still a sensible person at the end of the day, and we can identify that we can call things how we see it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we're up on the mic and we're talking like this. I'm talking to the people. I'm talking to y'all. We can see that it's obviously, there's things that we personally would and wouldn't do, and there's personal ways that we would go about doing things, and we may disagree on those things, which I voiced as well. So we're going to continue to do that, but that's why these guys who you know speak on Drake's demise, and they hate Drake so much, it pays to hate Drake. I mean, before, you got to think about it, before this recent information came out, it was almost just like, why are you niggas even still talking about him? For what? Really, if you guys hate the man this much, why make it your daily content? I don't even make content about Drake that much. So it was just baffling to me after a certain point, to where it was just like, bro, what are we doing? Why? Like, I get it, but after a while I'm like, why are we talking Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef every fucking day? This days like this is when I like to talk Drake and Kendrick Lamar, because we have updates. We are seeing timeline progression. We are getting real, up live shit going on. That is news. That is something that we can actually break down and digest, like we're doing here, and talk about. The rest of these niggas just sit here. If Drake fucking trips and falls on the ground, they're gonna say it's karma because Kendrick Lamar, and make a whole YouTube video about it. And there's gonna be people who watch it. There's gonna be people who eat it up. I mean, people have built careers, YouTube careers, off this. So it's not gonna stop anytime soon, and we're not gonna stop what we're doing. So let's continue into it. They're also requesting in 49 for January 1st, 2009 through the present, all documents and communications relating to Drake's criminal history or lack thereof, including any background investigations, due diligence, inquiries, checks, or reports related to criminal records. So Drake, this is for all you pedophile niggas, and why is this not being highlighted enough? Why are we not talking about this enough? This is for all you niggas out here chasing ghosts, on witch hunts, have all of this shit to break down. Drake's own team are asking you, and this is they have never asked for any other request for them to go back this far. For them to go back this far, Drake told them, hey, produce any criminal history or lack thereof. Produce any talks or any questions y'all had in the air about my criminal history or anything I've done. Please produce that. Produce that for me. If you had any questions of me being a pedophile, a child molester, anything like that, if I've essayed anyone, produce any documentation or communications on or in or around me in my criminal past. Let's also put that on full display. Why are you niggas not talking about this? Why are niggas not making videos about this? It's strange to me. Again, this is why we read the entire documents, because a lot of this shit gets looked over. Even the proper people who report positively. We got to talk more about this. From January 1st to 2014 to present, all documents and communications relating to the allegations of domestic violence, violence against women, and other forms of violence committed by Kendrick Lamar. He said, hey, if I was lying, you can produce that. But I'm pretty sure y'all were even discussing and had talks and were looking into these things going around Kendrick Lamar. I bet y'all had some questions in the air about these things, and maybe y'all had some discussion about these things. Let's see what y'all got. Let's see what y'all were talking about. From January 1st 2019 to present. All documents and communications related to Dave Isaac Freely and his relationship with Kendrick Lamar Duckworth and Kendrick Lamar's Duckworth children. So now that we're reading through the whole document, it gives a little bit more context into why Drake is asking for this information, because Drake's not asking for, and it makes sense now what he's asking for now that we're reading this. And I'm getting a little bit more clarification now that I'm reading this. Drake is not asking for a paternity test. He's not asking for, you know, even for them to prove that this is not Kendrick Lamar's son or whatever. He's asking for you to present all the documents and communications that UMG was talking about this shit. That UMG had conversations about this stuff going on. Themselves, in-house. I don't want you to prove it. I want you to prove that these were conversations amongst UMG, amongst yourselves. These are the conversations that you guys were having. Oh yeah, this makes much more sense, and it's much more clarification into what Drake exactly is asking for. It said request 49 also affirms he wants to prove he was truthful and Kenny was lying. Most definitely. And if you read it side by side like that, you definitely see that. You definitely see that. And I'm so glad I'm reading this, because again, now that we read that when they're talking about communications, they want any phone messages, documentation, calls, emails, anything where UMG staff and executives were conversing about these specific topics. I want them, because I didn't just pull this shit out of my ass. You niggas said it. You niggas were talking about it. You niggas were talking about this shit amongst yourselves. So please don't sit here and act like I'm over here saying some stupid shit, or I'm over here just pulling shit out of my ass, or I'm over here just saying some defamatory shit. So many people are glancing over this section of everything. So many people are just taking and blocking out the rest of these requests, that it paints the full picture of what Drake is and how Drake is approaching this and what he's asking for. So document 52, it says all documents and communications relating to the rap feud from August 1st, 2023 to the present. 53 asks for all documents and communications relating to the vandalism that occurred at Drake's OVO clothing store in London, in United Kingdom, on May 7th, 2024. So again, I think this is smart for Drake to dot all his I's and cross his T's. You never know. You never know what these people are capable of, and it's worth seeing how far these niggas were willing to go to devalue Drake, or to, at very least, to send some type of message to him to say that we'll put an end to all of this shit. We'll put a stop to all of this shit. You came to say hi? Shit, the fuck are you jumping on the back of my seat for? Bro said, I just know TDE and PG Lang were sloppy as fuck. We're sloppy as fuck. He said Ack said Dave Free was moving like he lost. I mean, they are. All of them are. Because at the end of the day, after they've done all they've done, and they see the moves that Drake is about to make, they know all of this shit is about to be blown up. They know all of this shit is about to be blown up and exposed. It's just the facts. He said he wants to also see how much UMG cared about the shooting, vandalism, etc. Yeah, most definitely. He wanted to see how much they cared about it, and I personally think If they had any hand or anything to do with it, trust me, it's worth looking into. If our politicians are willing to pay people to go out and riot and act a fool in the streets and do all type of crazy shit, I'm willing to bet. I wouldn't put it past a music label or a record label to do equally shady shit. I wouldn't put it past them. 45 ask for all documents and communications with with independent promoters relating to the recording or video. So independent promoters, I'm guessing, meaning like influencers or something like that. All documents and communications to independent promoters hired, engaged, or retained by you to promote the recording or video. Not limited by date range. Not limited by date range. The settlement agreement between you and the New York Attorney General referred in paragraphs of the complaint, including but not limited to the settle agreement and any scheduled exhibits, amendments, or modifications thereto. 57 asks for the not limited by range, all documents and communications related to the violations, suspected violations of your agreements with New York Attorney General by you or by any independent promoter. All versions of the independent radio promotion agreement since 2020 as referred to your radio and television promotion policies and procedures. From January 1st, 2023 to the present, all executed independent radio promotion agreements relating to the recordings. From January 1st, 2006 to the present, now this is the furthest they're asking to go back here, to present, all documents and communications related to the violations or suspected violations of your radio and television promotions policies or procedures. 61 is documents sufficient to show all expenditures made by you in connection with playing or promotion of the recording to UMG, the radio, including such documents available to the database or databases referenced in your radio and television promotion policies and procedures. August 1st, 2023 through present, all documents and communications relating to while standing on third-party platform, including but not limited to YouTube, Twitch, for any musical works or musical videos, including but not limited to first-person shooter, Like That, Push-Ups, Euphoria, Family Matters, and Meet the Grams. So they want to see how exactly YouTube and Twitch handled all of these records in comparison, it seems like. 63 asks for all documents and communications related to any analysis, measurements, experiments, or like you undertook or received, which assess the impact of while standing the recording on YouTube and Twitch, including, not limited to, any reports, data reviews of the number of videos that use the recording during the time period which it was whitelisted, public engagement with such videos, and sentiment analysis. So they want to see the information about this whitelist, them whitelisting Not Like Us, and the data and reports on that they were getting for that. So the documents and communications from January 1st, 2024 to January 2025, sufficient to show the standard licensing rates between you and Spotify. Documents and communications sufficient to show the licensing rates with Spotify for the recording. All documents and communications relating to the receipt of royalties for the recording from Spotify, including but not limited to documents reflecting the monthly stream share of the recording. All documents for 67, and communications relating to the use of bots, artificial streaming, or similar methods in connection with the recording of Not Like Us, including but not limited to on Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. So they want to see what the data is and how that was spent, including how they were used on those platforms. 68 says that all the documents in reflecting of the performance, engagement, and streaming metrics of the individual posts, analytics of publications of the recordings of Not Like Us, including YouTube, and including such metrics as analytics available on account and or channel dashboards. Documents sufficient to show specific playlists the recording was added to and removed from Spotify, on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music from May 4th, 2024 to present, including the date and time it was added and or removed. Document request 70. All documents reflecting the performance, engagement, or streaming metrics, individual song analytics, including but not limited to the number of streams, unique monthly listeners, and unique monthly listens and unique monthly listeners of the recording on Spotify, including the metrics of that. And the analytics reflecting in monthly usage reports and available on Spotify for artists, which is a platform that you can also use if you put out music to look at your analytics and see what your records are actually doing. You can see what playlist they're on, and when they're asking for Spotify for artists, this is basically what they're asking for. It shows you your records, it shows you where they're getting played, it shows you what playlist you're on, how many streams you're getting from those playlists, so on and so forth. It shows you all of these things. So when you click that playlist button, you can see all the playlists that you're on and shit like that, and how all your songs are doing, so on and so forth. So that's how Spotify for playlists works. Spotify for artists works. If you don't make music and put it out, and they're asking even for that. They're asking even for the analytics on that. So they're breaking down and even going into the apps that the said artist would use to see all the metrics and how they're doing, and I guess trying to pinpoint a time and to see or measure the activity or the flux of how much of these bots were being effectively used and utilized, and I guess how much of an actual effect they had on the song being put out and how well it did and it was received. So, documents sufficient to show by the hour the number of streams or plays, completion rate, skip rate, and average duration of play of the recording on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music from May 4th to 2024 to the present, as defined as measured in the respective platforms. I'll be a little high over here. Every now and then I get a little caught up on some words. 72 asks for documents sufficient to show by the hour number of likes, saves, or follows of the recording on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and YouTube Music for May 2024 until present. Documents sufficient to show by the hour the demographics of listeners, including such listeners, ages, genders, countries, and cities, and the source of listeners, such as the listeners' queued personal editorial playlist, other playlists, search or charts, who played or streamed the recording of Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and YouTube. 74 asks for all documents and communications reviewed, consulted, retrieved, and otherwise relied on you by you in answering, responding to, or objecting to those requests and any previous subsequent documents requests, interrogatories, and or request for admission served by Drake in his litigation. All documents and for 75, all documents and communications with Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, his agents, or anyone working on his behalf reflecting to the meaning or intent of the recording, image, or video. So just not like us. Thereof, including but not limited to the following. Say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. Just make sure you hide your little sister from him. Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a minor. Shape the story how you want. Hey, Drake, they're not slow. Rabbit hole still deep. I can go further, I promise. Go further with what? And your homeboy needs subpoena that predator move in that predator move in flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. The image of Kendrick Lamar Duckworth playing hopscotch, the image of a caged owl, and the image of shipping containers. Okay? He wants all of that. He's asking for all of this shit. All right? Let's see what the rest of this stuff has to do. Let's just see if they have any more requests. Okay, yeah, let's get into the rest of the request of what else they need. All documents, communication relating to the use of Spotify and UMG employees. Stream the recordings to their personal Spotify accounts. This request includes, but not limited to, all documents and communications relating to an all-hands meeting involving UMG's marketing team, which participants were instructed, directed, requested, told, or otherwise to use their personal Spotify accounts to stream the recording on repeat, and that they would be reimbursed for any fees associated with the same. Document request 77. All documents and communications related to the placement of the recording and or music by Kendrick Lamar on the playlist for UMG's workplace, including but not limited to its Santa Monica, California location. This request includes but not limited to all documents and communications regarding the creation, construction, or maintenance of any playlists and any directions, instructed mandates, complaints, concerns, or questions regarding the music played at UMG's workplace locations. So UMG even had them playing Not Like Us in the motherfucking work. Hey, put that shit on. Play that shit all through the office. Fuck this nigga. We riding on this bitch at. Yo, yeah, they was really feeling themselves. It said UMG really, Rise and Thrive said UMG really fucked up heavily promoting this song, bro. Yeah, I mean, just think about it. Y'all really had y'all employees playing this shit and told them, oh, we'll reimburse you. That crazy. All documents and, oh yeah, I just read this. Oh, this was at, specifically at the Santa Monica, California location. This request includes, but not limited to, all documents and communications regarding to the creation, construction, or maintenance of playlists and any directions, instructions, mandates, complaints, concerns, or questions regarding to the music played at UMG's workplace locations. All documents and communications relating to any payments by Ramon Alvarez, whether directly or indirectly, to the NFR podcast to promote anti-Drake messages and to populate positive comments regarding Kendrick Lamar in the NFR podcast comment section on any social media. This request includes, but is not limited to, any investigation, complaints, analyses, or similar to the same. Document 79. All documents and communications relating to the person or persons using the X handle Screwface. We call him Screwface Thought over here. You feel me? And we still trying to tell that boy to fucking get his fucking face off the ground from the last time that we packed him up. You feel me? Cause we had to do him filthy. We had to. We had to do that man filthy. We had to do that man dirty because he screw faced thought. So we had to pack him up. So I hope y'all are tuned in for when I do my classic pack ups. Okay? Because we already packed Screwface Thought up, this grifting ass nigga. We all know this nigga lives for a check, and he probably is swarming with bots all over his channel too. Okay? So Drake also wants to see what Screwface Thought in UMG communication is like and what he's been paid to push the propaganda and completely do an entire 360 or 180 on his stances in this entire beef, and how he's basically grown a channel and made a career out of bashing Drake.
Fuck your life. Bing bang.
It's crazy. They said, do you think NFR collected money? I did NFL. I'm going to be honest with this, and I'm going to be truthful and upfront about this and unbiased about this. Okay? I don't think that you'll find, or I seriously doubt that you'll find too much communication between these podcasters and people like Screwface Thought, who can flip stances on a dime, or depending on who's paying him the most. I don't think it's beneficial for UMG to just flat out say, we want you to make sure that you are saying fuck Drake and making sure that your comment section is flourishing with Kendrick Lamar love. I don't think they're specifically saying it or framing it in that manner to these little peon niggas. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're necessarily framing it to these people like that. I think the way they're going about it is, hey, you know, we want you to promote this song, and we don't necessarily want to have so much negative commentary around the song. We want to see a lot of positive commentary around the song. So if you can heavily moderate your comment section to make sure that this song is just getting a lot of love right now, we would highly appreciate it, and we will incentivize you to do so with X amount of dollars on our behalf from UMG. Love you, love Lucian. You know what I'm saying? I think it more so goes like that. So more letters. I want to get to this part right here. Because I think this is pretty relevant to what we're talking about. So let's get into this real quick. It says UMG agrees to add John Kozak as a document custodian. UMG will not add John Kozak or Sir Lucian Grange, as your letter suggests. You know, Mr. Kawajeza, whatever his name is, Mr. Call. We just gonna call him Mr. Call. As you know, Mr. Call is in-house counsel to UMG. The vast majority of his communications are privileged, and it would impose considerable and undue burden on UMG to review and log his documents and communications for privilege. The fact that he signed a contract with Kendrick Lamar before Not Like Us was released or delivered to UMG does not, as you purport, without any explanation, make it very likely, or likely at all, that he has non-privileged documents related to the claims and defenses at issue in this case. UMG has no reason to believe he does and does not agree to add him as a document custodian. As Solution at our meet and confer on June 5th, we offered designate John Janik, chairman of CEO Interscope Capital Labels Group, and Monty Littman, chairman of CEO of Republic, as document custodians. A plaintiff agreed that with those additions, UMG's list of 10 document custodians was complete unless and until new information came to light in discovery to reasonably indicate the need for additional UMG custodians, which they stated before and we read over. We stated we have multiple times in our discussion and correspondence to date that in that event we would consider reasonable requests for additional document custodians in good faith. So just to say that we will stick to, as you guys want, only asking for these 26 people as needed. Okay? They're just saying that we're going to stick to that in good faith to just comply with each other. He says, I think that's where Kojo's companies come into play. Indeed, I think it does as well. So our agreement to designate Mr. Kozak reflects that you agreed that you would compromise. You now assert the same demand to designate Solution as a document custodian that you did a month ago, before our agreement, based on the same meritless grounds. There have been no discovery developments in the last month that justify his renewed ask, and that it is at odds with our express agreements at our June 5th meet and confer. UMG has been working collaboratively in good faith throughout this discovery process. UMG initially sought to designate 5 document custodians that it continues to believe that those are the most relevant to this litigation. But it has compromised several times in response to requests by Drake, and has now designated 11 individuals as custodians, including the most senior executives at Interscope Republic, Messer, Janik, and Littman. UMG has also agreed to narrow certain RFP requests in response to relations by Drake's counsel at Meet and Confers, the C to the July 9th meet, letter from Crowell, and it is making rolling document production. UMG again asks that Drake work collaboratively to advance discovery, regaining the agreement you made a month ago without any basis is not collaborative or in good faith. We reject the request on that basis alone. It said you mischaracterized UMG's objection to this designation solution, which contrary your assertions have never shifted. UMG has maintained since our first meet to confer on this topic that Solution had no meaningful involvement in the matters and decisions at issue with this litigation. Solution runs a global multinational company. He is not involved in record releases or marketing activities around individual tracks, even high-profile ones. We have also maintained since our first discussion regarding Solution that to the extent of his documents and communications contain any limited relevance information, it is expected to be cumulative and duplicative of the now 11 documented custodians who have agreed to, who report to him, including Messrs. Janik and Littman. Your position as CEO of UMG's indirect parent company, UMG, Sir Lucian, must have relevant documents to communications because he was aware of Drake and Lamar's feud is strained at best and would apply equally to any CEO of any company with general knowledge of any issue of the company, and your specific arguments for why Sir Lucian is a relevant custodian, including assertions based on nothing but information and belief that had involvement in the release and promotion of Not Like Us. Um, which the assertions that you have never provided any basis in or any meat and confers, and that as CEO he signed UMG's code of conduct, and that he celebrated Lamar's win at the Grammys, betray weakness of your position. For all the reasons and those previously expressed, UMG will not make Sir Lucian a document custodian. So UMG is refusing to comply with making Lucian Grange himself a document custodian, to say that you need to produce these documents as well so that we can look and see how much you knew and how much you were involved in all of this. UMG agreed to produce the portions of any contracts or agreements between UMG and Lamar, allowing UMG to approve, reject, refuse to publish, edit, amend, alter, or veto the publication of the recording, image, or video. UMG's responses and objections to Drake's RFP number 1. At your request, we also agreed to produce the sections heading into contracts so you could see the topics, redacted portions, concerns UMG has done so. Your contention could see topics, the redacted portions concern. UMG has done so. I think I read that twice. Your contention that the contract has produced is somehow incomprehensible is wrong, and the information we agreed to produce has been produced, and you have not articulated any basis for why Drake requires an unredacted copy of the contract of how the redacted content has any conceivable relevance to the claims and defenses at issue in the case. UMG does not intend to produce an unredacted version of Lamar's complete contract to Drake. UMG stands on its objections to RFP numbers 11, 12, and 17. And that is the case right there. So basically they're standing on saying that we're not going to produce any type of redacted. Again, that was a major talking point that we seen online. A lot of people talking about that they were saying that so much of the contract was redacted that it was incomprehensible, and that they needed something that was just a little bit more clear. And here that you see that UMG is saying, hell no, we're not producing that. Okay, so they're saying fuck all that, we're not doing that shit. So it is what it is. So I appreciate you guys if you stuck in and watch this to the end. We are just about 3 hours in. I'm about to hop on some Siege with my boys and try to decompress, get some food. We've been locked in for 3 hours, just going through this and really getting a better understanding of exactly what's going on in this case. And it's best to do this. And, you know, even if you're not going to read it, to sit in here, let me read it for you guys and listen in, and us get this understanding of what's the wording and how this shit is being taken out of context on so many platforms, because you're going to continue to see it if you haven't seen it already. It's the talk of the town. Oh my God, Drake is asking for information for from Kendrick Lamar's kids. How could he do this? But now that I'm reading the documents, it's a little bit more clear. And now that we've read through just the majority of everything, it's a little bit more clear of what Drake is asking for and his motive and how he is trying to go about doing things. Okay, so before we head out, I appreciate you guys again if you stuck through to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, on Rumble, or on Twitch, go ahead and follow me on X and hop into the Doja Room community. This is how you can keep up with all our movie reviews, our music reviews. We are still listening to that JID project. Okay, so we want to get in tune with all that, and we want to give you guys a good review on that. We gave you guys a couple of movie reviews, so go ahead and check those out. We've been watching a lot of horror this week, so if you're into horror, we've been covering a lot of horror. We even went and gave Metro Boomin's album a 7 out of 10. Okay, that's how unbiased we are in the Doja Room. Okay, that's how much we give it up, and we are fair. We even gave Metro Boomin's album a 7 out of 10. So if you're a person like me who grew up in an era of, you were outside in 2005 on, and you just know this vibe, then yeah, this was a good little listen. But we went through and we're going through a lot of shit. So right now we're listening to the JID project. We're listening to who else? Who else am I listening to? We're listening to 2 projects right now. I'm listening to something else. Who else are we listening to? I know I'm listening to. Oh, we're gonna get to Gunna. That's who else. We're gonna get to the Gunna project as well. Gunna just dropped his project. We're gonna get to that. A lot of people were saying that has been good too. So yeah, if you want to keep up with everything we're talking about in the Doja Room community, or anything that I'm talking about, or just keep up with me on the daily, go ahead and hop in to the Doja Room community. It's just the best thing for you guys to do if you want to keep up, okay? And then you can follow me, your boy Dope Boy Diesel, on all platforms. That's how you get tapped in to what I'm doing and how you get into here, and you can go ahead and get yourself locked in with us. And we're looking for somebody to help us out with some gaming reviews, because I'm not the type of person to hop on every type of platform or title. So I'm looking for somebody who's really on top of a lot of titles and stuff like that to hop in and give us their just, unsolicited opinion on some video game reviews. Okay, so I need a little help with that. So we're looking for that. So go ahead and follow us, give us a like, give us a repost. I appreciate you guys again for stopping in. To all my stoners, hippies, and hip hop enthusiasts, this has been the Doja Room. I'm your boy Dope Boy Diesel. This is the outro, man, and I'm out. Until next time. Let's get it.
Hey, this that special sauce. Spill that drip, I wipe it off. $1 million worth of game. Can't feel that I work too hard. Poetry on